yeah, just this week of kind of hecticness, slowly getting organized and ready to about this fall.
Yeah, there's chaos usually precedes greatness. That's what I found, especially with Andrew Evans. There's always a lot of chaos before it just gets really crazy and positive. So, thank you, sir. We'll go to the Midwest in Indiana.
All right, so Jeff, what's hot is I spontaneously decided to go to a John Mayer concert yesterday, and through a past customer, I actually got free tickets for me and a couple buddies, which was pretty cool for like 20 rows back. And then what I appreciate is just the early morning grind and just being able to be with people that appreciate being up early.
I appreciate you and how well you're pacing this semester. Well done. Well done. Let's go to San Juan. Oscar.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can, and your face is really large. There it is.
Yeah. So what's hot is I started working out. So
So that means you're hot. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. And what do you appreciate?
So what I appreciate is this session of TLA at NLG. I'm ready to grow and crush next summer.
Yes, you are. It's exciting. Thank you, Oscar. And we'll wrap up over here. We'll go Brandon Jackson, back to Reed, and then we'll finish up the PSMs over here.
It's cool. What's hot is we still got a whole month of flat 50.
That's right.
That's pretty
exciting.
hot. And what I appreciate is every single person in this room and ready to work closely with y'all.
That's exciting. And if you guys, and people know, but Brandon, originally from the Tampa office, so by blood and lineage is United, but went abroad, if you will, all the way over to the other side of Florida and ran his third successful branch, which is really exciting. So welcoming. Let's actually maybe officially welcome Brandon. First one, right? First meeting. That's cool. Even though I feel like we've already done that. Appreciate it. Jackson.
All right, what's hot is we're getting settled down in Tampa. Tampa's about to pop. And then what I appreciate is just having the opportunity to come down to Tampa, being able to work with Carlos again.
That's right. And you originally started with Carlos in Tallahassee, same situation. By blood, United went over and officially finished top. It was close. Finished number 11 in the entire company for branches at $189,000, just shy of 200 grand. So again, first, I guess United, but with FC meeting. Let's welcome Mr. Jackson. All right, Mr. E back there.
What's hot? I started getting back into tumbling, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Give me one thing that when tumbling, just like gymnastic tumbling. Oh, okay. So why wouldn't you say gymnastics versus tumbling? Like, I just got back into tumbling versus. Ah, I got it. I got it. Gymnastics is like that. I got it. Thank you, David.
What's hot? It's our first NLG session. I'm really excited for this summer, for this fall, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm really appreciative of all the effort and everyone helping me out setting this place up.
Yes, sir. It's great. What a great office that still is not put together, even though we said we would have it done by April 15th. It's still not together. But we still shipped 1 million and almost 800 new, so we'll take it. We'll take it. Luke, wrap us up.
What's hot? Jenny and I put in that work on trivia last night.
Hold on, for the record, we had an 8-player gathering, and then at Buffalo Wild Wings they had the trivia, and they won. But you won.
Okay, so we went 4-0 right off the bat. This is 3 teams, so it's pretty good going 4-0. Had a little dry spell where Jeff and Dave took it for another 4 rounds. Then we came out in the final round and went.
Yeah, there was one round to rule them all.
Yeah,
and
we won by
they won.
Great clutch move. And I appreciate that this is next level group. It's exciting. I love that this is the group that we're gonna raise the standards in the company this year, and the company's gonna follow suit. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, the company is gonna follow suit. I'm fired up. So let's get rolling here. If you could follow along here, and I'm going to sit if you don't mind. So welcome to Next Level and what it means. Next Level from my perspective, and I have the honor, and I'm so excited, I feel blessed that at SLC, I'm going to be speaking 3 times. I don't think anyone's spoken 3 times, but one is the wrap up, and I think that's kind of like a normal Gamboa thing. We had a big year, so that'll be fun to motivate the crowd, and there'll be some new stories and some familiar stories there to help motivate our company. Then the second is best practices. Scott Dennis is, of course, going to lead a best practice on recruiting. Our company's a recruiting company, and so he's going to pick 4 managers that have best practices. And one of them is, setting PRs personally, and we have people from the U who are nominated for that talk. Then there is name collection for PRs. There's a third one, which I forget, and there's this new program called Triple Threat. So we get a chance to share that with the company and scale that to vector marketing. And then the third one, which I'm actually most excited to share, is a back-to-back message from last year on developing massive branch success. Or in this case, another way you could say it is, how do you create great success through TLA? And everyone has their strength, right? So you line them up, and different managers have their strength. And our strength of TLA and our strength in development, one of my strengths is targeting. You know what I mean by that? Like, for example, last night, the A-player Buffalo Wild Wing event is my version for last night of targeting. Getting time, spending more time, getting extra attention to some of our top people. And next level group, from my perspective, when I give the message, is your whole TLA class can quit, but next level should deploy into all the spots in your division. So every branch territory, every district territory, you fill a pilot, you fill a Dave, which is second in command to the pilot, and then all DOMs for vet, not new, but vet district offices. You should be able to fill that, and then from there, even if everyone else quit. So what's great is that we're going to be able to do that with the 23 people next level. Plus, even if half of our TLA quit, we have 100 people that got inducted. So there's another 70 left over. Even if half quit, we still have 35 people after next level deploys. So it gets really exciting really fast when you think of it that way. So just food for thought. Let me move. Put these guys down. Can do one of these, right? There you go. Okay. I think the biggest thing that I can share with you on how to get the most out of next level is perspective. So you see on the board, right? If you say football, that's football, 3 different places. When I type in football here on Google, it's tagged through the internet. Where I am in the US. So when I type in football, image, I hit enter, the American football pops up. But if I go to Australia and I type in football, a rugby ball is going to come up, or what we call rugby, but they call football. And if you go to anywhere else in the world, actually, and you say football, you could argue real football, you could argue it both ways, what we call soccer. Okay? So when you go into next level, you could see it, oh, well, this is my blank time doing this. If there's anyone who could do that more than any of you times 3 at this point, it's me. This is 16 for me. Anyone 4 or more? Not Karina included. This is your 4th, right? About to start your 4th. Mm-hmm. So your 4th cycle. It's really easy to say, oh, well, I've been there, done that. It's all in perspective. How do you look at it, right? I think, can you have a new perspective when you go into this? It's not, okay, well, how's TLA going to be different for me? All right, Jeff, show me a different TLA. It's not that. It's have new goggles. Have new eyes. And if you can do that, as the quote here says, I think you're going to get so much from TLA. I think you're going to get an experience that's different. And I will tell you, I've been to so many division manager meetings, and the September theme is always the same. What we talk about in July is always the same. Our event, our division manager meeting in October, we're going to Vegas for that one. That's going to be fun. We're going to Vegas. I already know the agenda for the most part, and what's an objective. When we meet in March, right after the trip, it's pre-summer. It's always the same. But so how come some meetings are way better than others? Who can tell me that as a division manager? What are some elements that cause the meetings, even though the objectives are almost always the same? What causes it to be different? Give me a couple elements.
Energy.
Okay, so how I bring energy, how the other DVMs bring energy. So we have a new dynamic now, right? We have 2 young bucks. And young is relative, but 2 new bucks. One kind of already in the mix with Trey Harris, who's doing an awesome job. And then the brand new stallion and bucking horse and just brash bull in China shop. We all know Brian Ehrlman. That's going to bring a new energy. Same agenda. That's a new energy. That's a different meeting. Right? What else is going to bring different dynamics? Because it's the same thing that we're going to bring to NLG if you want to have a different experience. What else would change the dynamics of a DVM meeting if it's the same objective every meeting for the most part?
Innovation in systems.
Okay, so innovation and updating. What else? How about from each individual DVM standpoint besides energy? What's different at every meeting? If all of us are giving talks, what's different?
What happened the previous year?
Okay, so comparison. Also, how we prepare for talks. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten up, or Trey Ketchum has gotten up, or Larry Manley has gotten up and said, all right, we're going to talk about how to develop a large pool of districts. Right? But am I going to get, let's say Larry gets up, is Larry going to give a message and give the same message, and we're all tuned out because he's just kind of recycling? What does that show when you're just recycling? What are you not doing? Say it again.
Lack of effort.
Maybe sometimes it can show lack of effort. What else can it show on the negative side if you're just recycling? Yeah, you're not putting enough effort. You're not innovating. You're not putting massive effort. Now, there's also the opposite, right? Why is having recyclability positive? What's that show? Mastery, or what else does it show? Consistency. What does consistency show in a business? That it works. It's scalable, right? I want you to make smart business decisions because you'll all be. I want you to be smart business people because when we're done with you,
We'll be smart.
you'll all be smart business people. That's right.
I know that one.
Right, Tyler. So moving to the front of the line, I think, is where I want to see everyone here. And sometimes we move to the front of the line just because some people got out, and that's the not nice. That's the nicer way of saying something not nice, where just by default you didn't quit, you're still here. And you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. There are division managers in the company who, not because they were the most talented, but they just didn't quit and they're here at the right time. There's opportunity afforded. And there's nothing that says everything is permanent. Nothing is permanent, right? When the #1 division manager in the region, Matt King, why would he leave? He found something better for him, which is, God bless him. I mean, that's amazing. But if you would have said 2 years ago, that guy's going to leave, no way, no way. But he found something that is perfect for him, and I say a prayer every day to say I'm so thankful and happy for Matt. I think Trey Harris is pretty happy about that. I think so. Rich Plaskin, if there's more than Matt, you would have said someone who's a lifer for Cutco, and he kind of is still technically. Rich Plaskin's still at Cutco, just now in corporate. Oh, he's not leaving. He's the one that taught me autonomy and run your business and run your pilot, and you can live a great life and be flexible, and you grind during certain times of the year. And he took me to his house and he showed me his townhome that was built on DM money and this BMW that was DVM money because he had tricked out M5 and all those things before the whole BMW thing. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy's here forever. But I think Brown Herman's pretty excited about moving to the front. Now, arguably, I would think Trey Harris and Brian Herman also earned those spots, not just by default. But when people move out of the front of the line, instead of questioning, I always say this, instead of questioning why people left, well, maybe because there's something better for them. Maybe they made a really bad choice. Maybe they made a really good choice. You're still here. Move up to the front. Think about that for a second. Move up to the front. Our A-player group. And Karina motivated me to think about this. So I have a picture of last year's A-player group. There was just, and this is, remember, when you invite the top 40%, if you will, 30 or 40% of the division, excuse me. And not everyone shows because I can't make it to COC or all those things. So we had, does anyone want to guess how many people we had last year? Who was here last year at A-player? Anyone at COC, SC3? Anyone want to guess how many in attendance that made it live to the event?
30? 22.
21. Ready?
Okay, got that one.
This year, 44. A couple of virtuals. I mean, that's crazy. That's not crazy. It's just double. I mean, that's really what it is. It's exciting. Last year, Florida Caribbean alone, we accepted, I think, 39 people. Just under 40. And I remember people going, wow, that's a little bit of kind of a smaller class, Jeff. And I said, I'm not worried. And we were small but mighty. And it's kind of like the pilot, right? We had low cut percentage in a way. But our mighty 160 whatever reps, so blank, 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 it's the same thing. But now we've gone from an 8-player that's like the pilot size-wise, but production, to now like a Metro Miami, where production, but from massive army. Think about that. 44 people. That's exciting. We're here because if you're in line for a potential branch, we're going to talk about this today. And it's going to be the first time. And if you really want to master, watch things that I say today that repeat themselves every prep for the rest of the fall and spring. If you've been here for multiple TLAs, watch and go, oh man, this is where Jeff talks about this all the time. You know it's a culture when people can finish your sentences. I want you to make smart business decisions, because when we're done with you, you're all going to be
Smart
business people, right? Because it's said so often the same way with conviction. Think about that for a second. And branching first years to start a business and build a business from scratch. And you know what? I would say even if you did $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in total sales, that doesn't seem that great. You went out and you ventured to run a business and you created total sales. Now, do I think the performance could have been higher? Yes. And we're still, I think, the #1 branch class in the nation. Even taking out Andrew, I think we are. But there are people in our division who did sub 20, tabbed with personal and all the recruiting efforts of 8 months of training and 4 months yielded $20,000 or less. But that's still a business. They still had to go out there and do it. Fists, right? They have the fist and fist of fury to go out there and start a business. How about this? There's no branches in Florida United, tab 0. So got some type of businesses rolling. That's important. And then last year, Andrew showed that round 2 is about growing and essentially growing a business. But see, what I love is what Andrew was able to show. This is kind of the new add-on, is that round 3 is about scaling a business. So Andrew has the great model here. Andrew went out, branched, got better, and then scaled it the 3rd year. Lest we forget, with the amount of branches and we only have limited territories, we're going to be branching people abroad. And here's some really cool throwback examples of branching abroad where you don't branch in your home division. Nowadays, with the new merger and Florida United and Gulf and Atlantic, no one's from anywhere anymore. Well, I don't want to leave Florida United. No one here, half of you weren't really from here anyway. So what does that mean? Right? If you think of it that way, how many people are going to go to Puerto Rico that aren't Puerto Rican? I think that's going to be exciting. That obviously speak Spanish, but from, you guessed it, South Florida. How many people are going to go up and down the region? I can tell you right now, from Virginia down is open game. How many of you are going to do and pull a Charles Stewart, University of Florida, actually fraternity brothers with Luke, and go branch, but go branch in Sumter, South Carolina, so you can get a different experience. Or technically you branched abroad in Chapel Hill first, North Carolina. Then your recent Vero. You technically, but it's all relative. I think branching abroad means you don't live with mom and dad. So technically 90% of you branched abroad. That's a real life, that's big boy and big girl stuff when you branch abroad, right? And then of course there's our district opportunity, which this is not a district manager meeting, but I would tell you that Luke put some really great perspective on what it means to be a district manager. It might be, arguably, if we're being respectful to other opportunities, it might be the best postgraduate opportunity until someone has the skills to find something in their field or find something better. Legitimately, this is a 6-figure within your first 2 years job. And when someone says, yeah, but I still, if it's a financial gain that you're looking for, I don't know anyone else where you're going to average 60 to 80 for sure coming out, and you have the potential to do 6 figures in your first 18 months to 2 years. But like I said, it gets harder and harder every year with the millennials and the next generations, because people want, some of you don't even know what 6 figures means, but you just want 6 figures. Like, I just want a 6-figure income, but you have no reference. If I gave you 40 grand, you'd feel rich right now, most of you. Most of you would feel the way you think you would feel with 6 figures with 45 grand in your bank, 50 grand in the bank. Me personally, Heidi and I could not raise the family, live in the house we want to live, or do what we want to do with 50 grand. But it's all different. It depends on age. It's perspective. It's like the football. So think about that for a second. And staffing the region, and I have the official word to say to you from Scott. We are going to staff the Eastern region with Florida United candidates up and down the bean row. And I can't wait to put some of you in Virginia and have an excuse to go visit you in Virginia and go field visit because I grew up north of Virginia. Or maybe we'll go into Carolina. I think what's open now, if we're being really upfront with the territories, there's a lot of Virginia opportunity. There's opportunities just north of us. I think the one division that's probably equal to us in staffing would be Carolina, as you know, because they're large. But outside of that, best candidates get the best spots. Snitches get stitches. Wait, what? He pulled the K-bar out. Snitches get stitches. 2019. Here's a cool game. I used to do this as a really immature division manager. It was really fun. We would come up with the phrase of the day, a phrase at the conference, the most random phrase, and whoever could work it into their talk won the money. So if I said rhubarb, right? Rhubarb is a plant. That's the phrase. That's the phrase. So I'd get up. Hey guys, getting lots of recommendations. It's almost like rhubarb is a plant. You'd have to get up in front of the conference in front of 500 people and work it in. But if it couldn't be random like I just did. It couldn't be. It makes no sense. You had to somehow work it in, and we would vote on who worked it in the best. So if you ever see some type of randomness, it might be that game going on. And we might have to start that next conference. 2019, and you've heard it time and time again all through the summer. 2018, we're going to have the most outstanding, most looked at division. We turned heads this summer in Florida United. The whole company started looking at the Southeast section of Vector Marketing this summer. The whole company started asking what is going on in Florida United. The whole company saw the pilot. The whole company saw Metro Miami. The whole company saw the branch average. The whole company saw the #1 and #2 new district offices coming out of the summer. Now #2 and 3, by the way, they just got passed. So let Orlando and David Vargas know they need to get on it, and they will. But everyone looked at this tiny little division. Unless we forget, and this is not for pride, but just some perspective, Florida Caribbean alone, take out the Gulf side of the United team, take it out. Still, I think we're #5 in the company in top 8 sales, and I think #11. Just our small little tiny Florida Caribbean division. And that's without every office operating at a high level. Some offices dealing with challenges. So all heads turn towards the Southeast section of Vector. 2018 is going to be the year where it is for pound, and I said this on the DM call, no weak links. Highest branch average, highest district average, pilot performance, new district manager. And we're going to have the unbelievable power, but what gets really exciting is what happens in 2019 when every office in Vector, my goal, my dream is that in 2019 we scale TLA, our TLA, the TLA that's creating 2018 to Vector Marketing. So when every division manager gets up and says, welcome to NLG, they're using the same slides, they're telling the same stories, they're working on the same assignments. When in August, when other division managers are on their vacation 2 weeks earlier than me, they're all going on tour and giving these assignments with red dots to all their candidates that run offices. And this assignment of best version of you, and this assignment of, wait a minute, you coming up with your training plan for the fall in August? Some of these guys don't even know if they want to be here. Exactly. Right? And all the systems and all the things that are so, and I think from the Lukes and Davids and the Karinas in the room, and even Antoine at this point, and Andrews, you've seen some of these systems and phrases and slides. And the other day, I forgot what slide, probably a Heidi slide, Karina said, every meeting. Because there's strength and consistency. Now, mind you, the Heidi thing's different. Oh, that's just me. But there's slides you'll see here that are new, but there's some that are just always part of the recipe, if you will. And United Train. In fact, part of what I'm going to talk about at SLC is being Cutco trained. There's going to be a lot of pride being United Trained. When you guys go out and run kick-ass offices, when you go out and your CSPs, when you go out and your district managers, when you go out and your pilot sales managers, when you go out and, believe it or not, 1 or 2 of you division managers in here, watching or here, statistics show based on what we're going to do. And they say, man, what led to your success? What did you do? And you can just say, oh, I'm United Trained. And everyone goes, oh. And they don't say anything. They go, oh, I know what that means. You were part of that division that did what they do all the time, consistently, year after year. And you get that training. I love when we have candidates that have a local office, and I just say, you know what, we're going to keep them on our training, not disrespectfully. We're just going to keep them on our training. And everyone says, oh, yeah, we get it. There's no reason, even from some vet, I have some division managers going, cool. Normally that's like, hey, well, why wouldn't you let them train with us? They all go, can't wait to hear what you have to say to SLC. I got that twice this week. It's one of those, Whatever, Jeff. Cool. And we'll follow suit. So United Train's going to mean something, but United Train's going to mean more so something to people from this room and this broadcast, because when it's 2019, you look back and you say, oh, well, I was a district manager candidate, and I was just so, I didn't know if I was going to be a district. And you look back and go, what the hell was I thinking? Why was I so insecure? Because I do the same thing all the time. I look back, and right before I got success in a specific part of my life, I went, what? I didn't want to go district man. One of my hang-ups of being a district is I didn't want to put signs out, because I thought I was above that. It's like upper middle income kid problems. I was too good to put out, I want to be in corporate America, because, the executives, we don't put signs out. If you told me I could get the business, I know we could get by putting signs out, I'll put signs out. I active advertised last year. That's crazy. Most of the division managers would, what? I said, I have a new division. They don't know what's going on. They need to see something. So I got out there. They didn't believe it, but I showed up. Jeff's coming active. But I used to be above a lot of things. And I realized, well, so are you above taking care of your kid when they're sick? That's dirty work. Hold on, it's the light bulb there. So United Train, think about that. We're capitalizing on edge, and I know that we're focused on things that people aren't focused on right now. In fact, one thing I'll share with you, and you can snapshot this, is that we reworked the Focus 5 for the TLA program. Meaning, what are the 5 most important things? And what else can go to the side? And if you go even more specific, you can take a picture if you want. Actually, Mr. Tyler, you're in charge. Post on the Next Level group, please, or whoever wants to get a good shot here. The PR program. There's traditional, which is cool because all you have to do is give a good talk now and it goes to the texting. Rep driven, which is alley-oops. Steroids, Facebook. What's fire number? That's when the manager, and for those of you that are not from United this summer, fire number is our nickname for when managers set their own PRs. I don't know how we got there. You know me. It was our fire number. If you want to bring fire to the PR, I don't remember what I said. Maria, do you remember? I don't know. It somehow turned and organically became fire number, which is manager set. Generating quality recruits. Part of that program is who you keep in the beginning of the summer. I don't know if you remember the one conference call where I said, I want you to see all these people that have all these people in training, and Scott's pumping them up. I want you to watch their sales report and see if it goes up. And usually it's branches and new offices. Oh, so-and-so in this territory has 35 in training. That's a prayer for good luck. But you saw the other offices that in the beginning, took a different approach to be a little bit, not so selective. In the pilot, we maybe even took it a little far, but open it up later. Start with the right people, that 20% what we talk about. And then triple threat. All the things that go under creating recruits. Best practices. The weekly staff needs to become a best practice. My goal is that in 2019, maybe 18, for us for sure 18, but in 19, the whole company every week runs a meeting similar to what we did in the pilot this summer. Benchmarks. Benchmark PDI, where on Fridays we send out a text to our staff and we know who to talk to. This is kind of the old school back on Fridays when you used to look up people's paychecks and, hey, Brandon, I just want to give you a shout, man. I just saw your paycheck come in. Yeah, it's $51. Yeah, it's Friday morning, and right now you're $100 in sales, so your check might even be less than 51 this week. Are you okay with that? All right, well, let's come up with a plan. What do you have going on for tonight? What phone calls can you make? That's like the old school version of that. And we still have those conversations. Benchmark PDI, phone jam, check in, check out. You know, it's really cool. One of the biggest light bulbs I got from a DVM team is when you check in, you have the triple threat. That was like such a big light bulb. The one that got people flipping tables is when I told them we triple threaded at SC1. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Training seminar efficiency. Setting up training with confirmation calls, people showing up with the amount of names before day 1. 2-day training, of course, proficiency. Launching with demos and PRs, I think that's a big, big focus. Fast Start program, how do you target the best reps? First 10-day management. There's Champions Club. There's High Flyer Workshop, which we're working in. And then demo management. How do you get reps to leave? If you can master these things, I think this is the business. And then I always say this. You can narrow it down to the big 2. And I think about the pilot last year, the pilot this year. what's going to be the pilot. We got these two things right in the pilot. There are a lot of things we didn't get right in the pilot, believe it or not. As great as the summer seems, there are a lot of things that necessarily we didn't capture on, but our PR program was outstanding, and our training of seminar efficiency was outstanding. I would add on to that probably our first 10-day management or event management. But if you can get these two things, and raise your hand if you just ran an office and you can attest to, yeah, those two things. If I'd executed, if I know now what I know, or then what I know now. Okay. Food for thought or any feedback on the Focus 5? Yes, sir.
I think what's interesting is a lot of the other stuff in Focus 5 is stuff that are innovations that have been added this year. But when I look back on my branch number 2 years ago, those two were something that's so consistent. That's just year to year to year.
Yeah. So Luke's example is when he was in Boca. I mean, if you take the Luke from Boca and the Luke now, the Luke from Boca, wouldn't even know how many times he looked at his planner weekly. Way different Luke. And I know for sure he got those two things right, the PR program and the training seminar. Because in Boca, there were sharp reps from the PR program, and they popped sales. And they were showing up to events the right way because of the seminar. And the other feedback you've run 3 of these office thingies.
2.
Oh, 2, that's right. First one, district. Second one, first one. Gosh, how many offices you've run. First one, sorry. Metro Miami confuses me, right? So, any other feedback on the importance of these two? When Andrew and Luke did their video, this was kind of the video, for the most part. Okay. Before we go to the agenda, we'll take a quick stretch after this. I want to end with a few thoughts. There's nothing like being the big fish in a little pond. There's nothing like it, okay? For you aspiring physicians and lawyers out there, go for it. I'm excited for you. But I just want you to think about when you're in a place and you're good at this. This isn't for those of you that don't end up good at this. Doesn't sound nice. But if you find yourself getting good at this, some people aren't good at this, right? That's what happens. That's the problem. But if you find yourself progressing and doing the right things to get better, there's something to be said about being the big fish in the little pond versus going out and being the tail of the lion, right? Or in this case, being a small fish in the ocean. And this goes back to autonomy. When you're really good in a small pond, you run the pond. And our pond just turned into a big lake. And some of you are expanding. So just food for thought. When someone leaves our business, especially now, with the glory years of Cutco coming up, and specifically here in the United Team, if someone leaves, I always ask 3 things. I always ask the Andrew Evans question. So what else are you going to do? Right? And this isn't a knock for those of you that aren't here. It's just a question. It's an honest question. Do you have something legitimately, tangibly, and statistically and factually better lined up? So if you know the term discernment, when you make a decision, an educated decision, discernment happens when you're not attached to either one. But number 2, you have 2 very good options. But some people leave and they don't have 2 good options. So they didn't really discern anything. They just made a decision. It's not always a smart one. Discernment's when you make smart business decisions. Tyler? Smart business decisions.
We're going to be smart business.
That's right. Okay. So just food for thought. This applies to maybe 70% of you. Maybe more. Ideally, 100% of you. And it doesn't mean that you being a big fish in the small pond is permanent forever. But man, the next 3 to 5 years, I can't remember my first 3 to 5 years after college. I really can't. But I know that those first 3 to 5 years after college have set me up. Do that. Be in an environment where you're cultivating to grow. This goes back to being a 5-star. This goes back to what kind of recruit are you going to be? This goes through, if you're going to go Cutco through college, don't do Cutco through college by default, where you're just here. Don't do Cutco through college and just exist. Don't do Cutco through college and just participate. That's no fun. Cutco through college is awesome when you're involved and you're immersed in it. Cutco through college is awesome, or right out of college is awesome when you're in the mix and you're growing. I think of the conversation that Luke and Andrew had on the bus. I think Luke was looking to quit. I'm paraphrasing the story. Hey, everyone that I really know in the company is leaving. I think I'm gonna quit. And I don't know. I'm gonna paraphrase Andrew. Bro, are you crazy? Don't quit. Are you stupid? We can run this. Something to that effect. And Luke goes, oh, okay, cool. I won't quit. I mean, it was just that easy, by the way. Thanks, Andrew, by the way. I mean, it's one of those, yeah, but there's some truth behind that. Because not just because Andrew said, oh, that's crazy, we could run this. But that's a light bulb where Luke goes, whatever calculations in his head at that half nanosecond, to him to go, oh, yeah, okay, cool, I won't quit. He went, okay, well, damn, I could run this. And somehow there's an equation of big fish, little pond in there in his head. So just food for thought. And you guys know the Cutco college track we talk about all the time. And you could probably recite this and stuff for most of you. But branching the first time really does create options. Francisco Duran is here. If you notice, he's up from Puerto Rico. He's here because he wanted his summer 2 to be a branch, which it was. Summer 1 was rep, summer 2 is branch. And now he's discerning. Summer 3, grow my business or CSP. So he's going to stay, and tomorrow he's going to attend our Cutco Sales Professional campaign meeting just to kind of check out both sides because he's so new. I think both are great. And then, of course, when you graduate, being at least in a position. Oh, I don't know if I would be a district. Well, you have to remember, sometimes some of you aren't even being recruited for districts, so don't sweat yourself. And that's the great thing about where we're at right now. We are not in a position where we go, please be a district manager. If there's any division manager right now who isn't going to be like that, it's me. I'm not. I'd rather lose than staff weak people who don't fit our values. I'd rather not be the big United division we're excited to be right now. I'd rather delay it to 2020. It's fine. Because just like in the pilot, we have a low cap percentage to start. I do the same thing with the division. And it has worked wonders. It's worked wonders. So no longer will you go up to preps and go, wait, third manager? Because that happens a lot of TLAs, right? How many of you have been to preps and you go, wait, what? You're an assistant? Not when you come to our preps. And next year's preps and the year after preps for sure. Now, are we going to give people a chance? Absolutely. That's the Cutco way. So, with that being said, we'll take a quick break. But before we do, and we're going to discoveries, big takeaways. Let's do that real quick. Big takeaways. We'll take a quick break after this before we dive in. Maggie.
My biggest takeaway is whenever you talk about perspective, and even though you've seen or heard talks, so many times, it's how you see it from new.
Yeah, new eyes, right? Not new destinations, new eyes. Other takeaways. What's sitting with you right now? What's heavy right now?
Fish.
What's that? You like big fish?
Luke. The year from no weak links.
No weak links. Ready? The question you have to ask yourself privately is, am I the weak link right now? Someone in the room, or someone in this virtual broadcast or in the room is the weak link. There's always a caboose for every train. And you're only as strong, you know that, you're only as strong as your weakest link. For some reason, I just got onto this video chain of Gino Arrieta. You know who Gino Arrieta is? Who's that? No, but that's a good guess. He's the head basketball coach of the women's basketball team at UConn. And if you know sports, sorry, I'm going sports right now. They are one of the most prolific dynasties, if you will, of just being practically undefeated for 10, 15 plus years. And he talks about big fish, small pond, and he said in athletics, and I said, this is also in Cutco in business. He goes, you know, we say this to all of our athletes, you can control two things no matter what. You can control your attitude and your effort. And if you feel like you're the weak link or the middle of the top, it's probably directly correlated with your attitude and your effort. Now, this is part of the prep general session. What you'll notice, next level group, I'm just to all of you guys, what you'll notice is that all of the prep today and the first third of every prep or the first quarter of every prep for every month we do it is teaching our people how we're going to think. For example, if it's easy, what? We don't want it, but you have to teach that. If it's easy, we don't want it. Don't be a problem reporter, be a what? Problem solver, solution finder. But you have to teach that. Be respectful, say please, say thank you, show up on time. Do what you say you're going to do, but you have to teach that. Don't wear brown belt and black shoes, but you have to teach that. I mean, you have to teach everything. Be respectful to elders, because you never know who you're talking to. I mean, there's all these things, and part of it's from the values of our division. Of course, it's from me, but you have to teach those things. Other takeaways. We'll go to break in just a second. Antoine.
Kind of 1 year.
Yeah, there's a lot that can happen. Dave got us the example for today. How about virtually? How about in tally? Nothing? Absolutely no takeaways. Literally, like, basically no takeaways. Eddie.
Yeah, my big takeaway, kind of what you said in terms of with the pond to the river, but if you're the weaker link, even if you on a train, it's still a train, and it's going somewhere. So take advantage of the momentum and run the train.
Good. Other takeaways in Tally or here or Indiana or San Juan?
Move to the front of the line.
Yeah. How's that apply for you? Why is that hit with you?
I don't know, just stepping up in Tampa with Carlos.
Yeah.
Being able to work with Brandon, Rhiannon, and everybody that's coming to Tampa.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to move up.
More responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility too. Spider-Man. Uncle Ben. Other takeaways? Tally? Live here?
I have one, Jeff.
Yes, go ahead.
Just with the next level group and saying to the people who've gone through it 1 or 2, 3 different times and looking at it with a different perspective. I mean, it's not just next level group that you need to look at different perspectives. It's like that thing where, or just you read a book 10 times and get something new out of it every single time.
Yeah, like How to Be CEO. I've read it now 15, 16 times. I still get something different. Thanks, Grant. No video. Are you in the bathroom right now?
No, my internet's not all that great, so I'm just trying to keep off of it so I don't lose connection.
Okay. I'm just kidding. Virtually, anyone else? How about live here? We'll wrap up.
The simplicity of running an office. The Focus 5 is you crush those things, and I mean, it's kind of like being a rep. If you're not lazy, you follow the program. It's gonna be hard to run a bad office at United.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to run a bad office in United. This is probably the phrase that pays right now. But the business has gone from being unbelievably simple. I remember shipping 124,000. The trip was 125. A branch summer. So I shipped 124,300. No. What was the galley back then? No, 125,600. 24,000. I missed it by $400. Less than my personal sales average order. And it was hard. I didn't tab it, and I missed the cruise. And they got this call from Region. It was one of those. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This guy might quit calls. No, I wasn't gonna quit. But the business has gone from then when I only had 32 reps that shipped that. It was such a simple business. It wasn't complicated. I mean, I used to run an interview on Saturday before training to get people pumped, ready for the next week's cycle already. How in the world do you fit it in? Because back then our day 3 training wasn't 19 hours. Day 3 is now 19 hours, or 9, or 12. I don't even know. So it's gone from really simple to then it got massively complicated from 2011 through 14, and then now it's gone back to really simple. And really just focused and intentional on those Focus 5. So to your point, good. I thought strong session. Let's start. It's now 9:12. Let's take a quick 10. So 9:22, we'll rock and roll. We're gonna hit pause. We're gonna get the music. So restroom, snacks if you got them. Snitches get stitches. We'll see you at 9:22. Snitches get stitches. Summer 17 discoveries. Now, it was so much cooler last year because Drake had a song where he said Summer 16, and I could do all those fancy slides. So Summer 17, maybe we'll have Jackson come up with a song. Summer 17.
Okay. I mean, I can.
All right. He can. Summer 17. Okay. What's funny? No?
Typically, I can rap.
Jackson can rap. We'll talk about that later. So, without looking at the sheet, right? Before we go to the sheet, let's talk about what we found to be the biggest moves from the summer. Best practices, if you will. If you're from the United this summer, you're more accustomed to this. Let's shout them out. What are the big best practices of the summer? So, okay. In a second, I'm going to have you go to the agenda. I'm going to have you write a few things. So, manage your fire number. What else?
Triple threat.
Triple threat. That's a big one. Staff meeting. Who's that? Despacito? Yeah. Okay, hello. Staff meeting. We'll call it pilot staff meeting initially. What were some of the other big best practices? Facebook. Facebook blasting.
Yeah, exactly.
One more time.
Not go through college.
Yeah.
CTC.
CTC. What else?
Send it to Jeff.
Yeah.
Doing
the job.
Jobs.
How do you if you're a business consultant, how would you label that part of the culture? The culture of doing the job is
Expectations.
it has to do with standards. I would call it elevated standards of what's acceptable, what's good, what we recognize. Okay, one of my favorite moments of the entire summer is when one young man or woman wouldn't stop posting these small under $1,000 sales, and I booted them off of the TLA Gunner page, and it erupted. It erupted. And my favorite response, St. Thomas Aquinas, Taylor Sterling said savage, and then next thing you know, he was not a gunner, and then Giovanni said goner. Instead of gunner. I mean, it was. And I was eating sushi. It was the most exciting Wednesday for me. This is great. What else? I would say, how about WhatsApp culture?
Just WhatsApp in general.
Yeah, just WhatsApp in general. What are some things from that? How about the demo debrief?
Demo debrief. Being able to drive your team when you're like getting tied into team goals. It's part of the culture and easy to drive. What's that?
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're saying.
Yeah, driving team goals.
Yeah. So how about this group communication through WhatsApp? What else? What else were best friends? You can look at some of the ones on that sheet. What else were best friends? Say it again.
DVM leverage.
That's right. This is one of my favorites, and I can always tell. Here's the. I guess when I speak at SLC, the most powerful meeting that I run is what? It's the SLDM, because that's where I'm able to go on a full hour rant on the vision, cut through college, what's available. That's my recruiting meeting. But if you don't get people to me there, it doesn't work. So, and virtually or live, and it doesn't matter. I have had years where in Puerto Rico, massive amounts of people were watching and were speaking the language that I was saying at SLDMs when I showed up to SC1 in Puerto Rico. And then the pilot had no culture at that time. And I've had it now where you could tell. And you can also tell by when people come in, hey, Mr. Kimball, it's really nice to meet you. There's just this culture of respect and wanting to, as you know, I'm not here to be reps' friends, and I'm certainly not here to be your friends, although many of us become friends. But whether it's mystique or just the leveraging of the position allows me to impact your people the same way I'd want you to impact and leverage me the same way. So what else? DVM leverage, other best practices. Yeah, big three for the day. That's from a business consulting standpoint. How would you label that? What is the big three is our name for managers what? Daily
Focus,
what?
daily focus.
Daily focus and setting of intentions. Today, during the advanced planner session, I'm going to talk about the concept, it's a Tony Robbins concept, RPM, for planning. RPM, which is results, purpose, and massive action plan. And we talked about this in the summer a little bit, early summer. This was one of our conference calls. What else was a best practice this summer?
The edge.
The summer. Well, I guess the edge played its role. How about this? Those of you that actually worked hard on the edge last year, you felt it. You felt it. What else?
Skills checks.
Yes. I'm going to put skills check and assignments. Assignment culture. I'm going to put down phone jam, 1 hour prep. We had brand new reps spending an hour getting ready for Wednesday phone jam and an hour getting ready for Sunday phone jam. You know, up until this summer, I've never experienced massive Sunday phone jam success. And then Luke, 1 year, here's Luke and David and the pilot staff. We're setting up 300 plus demos on a Sunday. And a lot of it has to do with just assignments, phone jam, 1 hour prep. What else?
Staff mentality.
Meaning what, Eddie? Like the pond caboose train? What's that?
And energy. Always energy. Never tired, never hungry, never broke.
Okay, so I'll go one above that if I may. How about just staff selection? Offices that had great staff selection and great training, you felt it, and anyone that had opposite, you felt it across the board. So ready? Here's my point for later. It is better to have no assistants than bad assistants. That's why everyone says, well, I'm a branch, I want an assistant. No, you don't. That's why in our policy, first year branches, no one gets an assistant, even if we had 30 options for you. No first years. You guys don't even know how to manage yourself as a first year sometimes. How are you going to manage another rep? Let alone getting 4 or 5 thrown at you. I mean, that's crazy. It's a lot. Slowly. Staff selection. I would also put under staff selection is quality recruits that they bring in. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by quality recruits that the assistants bring in?
ANPRs. ANPRs and just, I mean, they're the ones that establish the culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Replicating.
And they attract the people they attract.
Yeah, Kirsten said replicating, and Francisco said they'll duplicate the same type of people. How about this? Low kept percentage to start. That's Clearwater. Clearwater experienced this whole massive shift in Mike's mentality that, you know, he's probably the most altruistic manager in our region, let alone in the division, meaning helping selfless. So Mike Abramovich wants to take every person off the street, literally sometimes. That's a literally, you can use literally. Like off of the street and give everyone a chance when socioeconomically, there are just some people where if we're showing Cutco to people who are homeowners, by some of the people we're keeping just because we want to give their personalities a chance, doesn't line up with how our business model works. AKA, there are some people where $300 is not a grocery bill. It's their month's rent. That person's not really going to see, I would say, statistically success with Cutco, because you guys understand what I'm saying. But Mike had the shift from, okay, it's not that I'm saying no to all these people I want to help. It's that I'm saying yes to give a better experience to people that I am going to help. And he said for him, he just needed to hear it that way. We were just randomly driving in his car in St. Pete. And I said it that way. He goes, huh. You know, if you know Mike, he goes, huh. And he just gets quiet, and you can just tell something's going on in there. And it's just gigantic light bulb. His eyes were shooting from his eyes, the lights. Right? But look at the massive difference in Clearwater team. There were reps within the first two weeks of the business that were some of the sharpest reps of his career in the first 2 weeks. So just an example. Other ones? I think we're getting down here. Other ones? We got it all for the most part.
Yeah, PDI.
Yeah, PDI. So I think part of our PDI
This WhatsApp.
was the WhatsApp and then benchmarks. And then for Jackson and Brandon, benchmarks were every Friday night we'd break down our new group into 1, 3, 6, and 10K, and which of the category should our second weekenders get to, but we made it a focus, and you'll learn that later. So I want you to go to the agenda real quick. There are ones that aren't, you can either type this up or you can go to the agenda, it's up to you. I want you to rate your proficiency on all these, 1 to 5. 5 is excellent mastery. 1 is non-existent in my office.
In our like summer office or like our office now?
Summer office, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll debrief. So go through, and if you were an assistant manager, in terms of your proficiency or confidence in executing. What will be really interesting is when the assistants rank themselves high on certain things, and branches say, yeah, wait till you run it on your own. Right? Branches go, okay, wait, buddy. Oh, yeah, that's easy. Oh, I got it. Oh, yeah, phone jam culture, got it. You forget all the 10 different things that happened that you didn't do to get that phone jam together. Right, Tyler? Tyler's smiling big.
100%.
So real quickly, just self-analysis here. Didn't you? Darb.
During yours.
And then you guys would just start posting jobs and then yabs.
Jason, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I'll give you another minute.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Can someone please post a picture of the board in the group chat?
Yeah, Tyler Condon, would you mind?
Despacito.
Oh, wait. Kirsten.
Oh, yeah. The hashtags.
I was working.
You ready? Perfect.
Okay. Another 10 seconds, wrap up.
Thank you, Tyler.
No problem.
Say you're welcome.
You are welcome.
Speaking of Despacito.
You still have that audio clip?
Probably. Okay. Real quick, can I get some general feedback on, just as you go through this, what's becoming apparent? What are some light bulbs?
You need to get to mastery level.
Say it again, Brandon.
You need to get to mastery.
Okay, there's a lot that we need to get to mastery level on. And here's the cool thing. If I told you statistically, and not even through Cutco, but through research, through Harvard Business Review, that every 2 of these took 8 months, maybe you'd have a different perspective on how hard it is to build your office, how much time it takes, right? Meaning, one summer to the next, and I'm just making up a number. If I told you, I said, hey, Rhiannon, you want to go district next year, but you want to triple your results. Well, every one of these programs, let's just say, takes 8 months. So number one, I would hope your patience for yourself, and also just, if I'm 195 pounds, but I want to be 170, trying to convincing myself that in 2 months I'm going to be there is either A, unhealthy, or B, not realistic, C, really going to disappoint you. So part of me is wanting to extend your patience for the process. Second is, if you, let's say that were the number, or the time, it was 8 months for every 2. What should you do in relation to those 2 that you choose? What should be really important in that decision process? Which 2 are going to move the needle? Which 2 are going to move the needle in your business the most? Not, oh, you know what? I really want to get profound in, like, for example, if your recruiting quality recruits was off, I wouldn't touch anything phone jam or PPR related right now. I'd rather have a lot of quality recruits that you don't know what the hell to do with, which tends to happen second year. Right? Believe it or not, one of Andrew's first, this was first summer, Andrew, right? Debrief. Let's talk about the summer. He goes, alliances. I just don't know how to run alliances. That guy didn't know how to run alliances. Did you see his alliance this summer? I mean, and then the second summer it got better. Right? Maybe it was second summer to third. You've run so many offices now, Andrew. I don't know. It's just think about that for a second. Other discoveries? So Brandon said mastery. Other discoveries. What's heavy? What's hitting you? What are light bulbs? If you're an assistant, you're probably going, this is a lot. Or you're probably thinking, I got this. That's going to be fun for you. Brandon.
Just really just being like the results that you're getting right now, and like if you just did take it to another level, what your business could be.
Yeah. How many of you can identify, if you're in an office, how many of you can identify the two where you go, if I had those two, ready? I'd be curious. Let's go around. If you ran an office and you paid money to run an office, invested money and time and energy, blood, sweat, and tears, and lots of tears, what were the two that you go, ugh? What are the two, Brandon?
I'll say triple threat.
Triple threat.
And the edge.
And the edge. So I should have trained. I would have trained. I needed to train harder before the summer. And triple threat, which is an easy way to scale your best people. Read.
My AM staffing and
Okay, AM staffing and making sure you set more PRs. I remember you delegated a lot. It's good. It's good analysis.
Fire number and day 2 to 3 shows.
Meaning what? Just seminar?
Yeah.
Okay, so proficient training and.
Yeah, fire number and DVM leverage.
Okay. Hey, when your reps go, who's that guy? Bad news.
I'd say getting into events.
Okay, so event
If
management.
that's part of that.
For me, it was benchmark, PDI, and temperature.
Okay, so getting more quality recruits and retaining second weekend. Okay. So like.
Fire number and quality recruits.
Yeah, so just getting people in the door because you didn't have a big team, or the ones that when you had it wasn't the type of people you necessarily want. How about virtually and tally? You ran an office.
Fire number.
Is that the Leela?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell.
Fire number and 1 hour prep before phone jam.
Oh, okay. So we're seeing people that didn't quite bring it for phone jams. Okay, good. Let's go, JP.
I would say triple threat.
And the edge. Okay. Some consistencies here. Who's on the other side? I can't see. Oh, Sean.
Definitely triple threat and fire number.
Okay. Andrew, how about you? I'm curious. If you said, man, okay, well, we did such an unbelievable job, which you did, but how could we have taken it to 800 or 750 or even 700? That was the initial goal. What was the difference?
I would say if we would have been on the fire number a little bit earlier,
Yep.
and also probably scaled out quicker. Like, I'm not sure that's like a best practice on the board, but for us, it would be like scaling out like things like PI and management quicker.
Yeah, I mean, ready? The business isn't big enough is just one of many challenges, but the opposite is also a challenge, right? What do you mean? I'd rather have, if your business is growing too fast, you can't handle it. It's just as hard, just as non-profitable as a business that isn't growing. When Jessica Perez was the #1 branch in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and she did under $500,000, almost almost $400,000+ as a new district manager. I remember her calling me crying. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, I have too many reps. And I said, "You know how many people would smack you right now?" Right? I can't talk to all my sharp people. Too many. Like hiccup crying. And so we sat down, we talked about teams, and it started popping. I think, Grace, you were one of those people on that team. Interesting. Other takeaways? Okay, do me a favor. Go to the handout files. I almost had an accent. Handout. Go to the handout. And the first handout on the file on the next level group is the syllabus proposal for this year. Okay, subject to change, but I'll share screen here.
All good.
Okay. Here's what I'd like to share with you. Where are we? There we go. Okay, you guys can see on the board this one. Okay. You guys can pull it up yourself, right? You guys got it? Okay.
What?
So if you take a look, that's all, the business has also changed. Here's what I want you to see. What we're focusing on now. Okay. So take a look at today's prep. Over here. So today's prep, I broke it down into 3, and this is something I'm very adamant about in regards to the Success for Today program. Every prep, we want to offer something Cutco related, always something financial, and then life skill, like non-Cutco skill. That's TLA, isn't it? We teach them how to get more professional, work for money, and all that. Cutco. So today's event, only an event, is our Cutco instructional. Technically, it's a recruiting talk. Our program for PRs. What do we normally start with?
Recruiting,
interview. Notice we're not even going into the interview. And the philosophy is, just so you're aware, is right now we don't even want everyone running an interview. And the interview is so quick to learn nowadays. So instead, if you're an assistant manager running an interview, you're probably already learning it now anyway. As a new recruiter. For example, Kate Pinsker is running her first few pre-screens in our office. She'll be a new recruiter by October. That's what we're pushing for. If you want to get ahead of the curve, all new first-year assistants, can you run your first interview by Halloween? So by the end of October. But everyone will learn it at the next prep. So they'll learn the group interview. We're going to go in detail, more so on the Facebook, LU, and triple threat part of PRs. And then we're going to cover the branch pay program, and then event-to-event management. And if you notice, event-to-event management is going to be on every prep. Because I want our reps, if they're an assistant, if they're a DOM, if they're PSM, if they're a branch, I want everyone to be very proficient and understand what happens in 7 days. What events do people need to be at? What are assignments every day? So that even if they don't earn a branch, everyone needs to know what the assignment is from advanced training to Wednesday's phone jam with number of names. What is that? 30 to 50. Everyone knows that on Friday there should be a certain benchmark PDI. Everyone knows that there's an hour on Tuesday for a phone jam prep. Everyone knows that you check in and check out. And we're going to start hitting that from the next prep on. They will have no idea what, most of this on the first prep will be a lot of, oh, I see, whoa. You know that moment when everyone realizes every time it's always a push? Wait a minute. Man, it was just, you're always pushing, you know. You're always selling, right? Then, third prep, we'll do branch pay part 2. How to do, now we'll dissect PRs into 5 stars, 101. We'll continue event-to-event management. Then we get to Olean. We'll go into the training seminar and then brush up. And why do we need to brush up on PRs one more time at Olean? Because we're about to get all those PRs for what?
The trip.
For the trip push. Okay. And then agenda for December, we start PDI and training seminar part 2, and then it goes from there. What also gets exciting, I think, is the financial stuff. So, for example, today we have Luke's dad coming in. That's going to be an outstanding message. But then we're going to start doing things like $100 rule starts today. And teach our reps, teach some of you, $100 rule. And then also we're going to have them find out their big 3. Big 3: gas, food, and fun. You guys remember that from last year? And then we'll have them bring it to the next prep. Money, personal budgeting, monthly budgeting. Big 3 weekly strategy with your finances, and how to create rewards memberships that pay you back. Free trips, free hotels, free flights. Then money, personal budgeting, levels of financial priorities, which is, I teach this to districts, but I'm going to teach it for the first years. Bank account setup, checkbook management, and impacting credit score. Creating startup capital funding and sponsorships for a business. Okay, that's a real thing. It's not just Cutco. When let's say David Delgado has to go home and say, Mom and Dad, if I were to go abroad to Oxford University, which is in England, and I got a full ride for their school, but I had to pay room and board, would you sponsor me? Yeah. Well, I'm going to be doing something similar. In fact, I would argue it's probably going to be better for my resume, better for my personal growth. I'm asking for the same type of sponsorship, room and board. So last year, actually FC, not all of you know, but FC, we had 100% sponsorship. Not a single branch paid for their own food or home because we taught how to get sponsorships early. So we'll do that. And then setting annual financial goals, which is appropriate in December. And then from the personal standpoint, advanced planner systems, we're really going to dive heavy into journaling and Big 3 early in the fall so that all of you, by the time we get to Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday season, we want all of you, specifically next level, I want you guys so dialed in and tuned in with your morning routine, with your fitness, and with your journaling / getting an intentional for the day. If I can get you guys there, that's already half the battle. Because we said this backwards a couple moments ago. There are 2 things you can always control. What are the 2? Attitude and effort. So by getting on your morning routine, what are you grasping, and what are you starting the day by impacting of those 2? Attitude. Attitude and focus. Okay? We'll do fitness, of course, macronutrients, how to eat, how to exercise, art of conversation, business fashion, social media image. Right, I was on, because I'm in so many WhatsApps, I think a lot of reps forget, and I look at them. I'm like, who is that? I don't have the number, and I'll click the profile picture, and it's like a half-naked girl. I'm like, what is this? This is what everyone's seeing. And I messaged 2 of them. I said, this is what everyone is seeing. So when you post, and one day you get a job, and they want a WhatsApp from you, and you forget that your little selfie, puckered lips, duck lip, midriff showing picture is what is being represented, you might lose that job that day. But companies do that. Best version of you is not just here; it's also on social media. Everything is you, right? So everything is you. Jackson. Takeaways or comments? Excited about? I just wanted to review the syllabus real quick. What's everyone excited? What excites people? What stands out as I go through the syllabus with you guys? Besides that, it's highlighted in green.
Like the event of management. I feel like the biggest thing for me was just getting people to show.
Yeah, and knowing what to promote to get them there. Okay.
I really like.
Go ahead, Tyler.
The priority and the order in which you're teaching things is just totally different. I really like that. Just the things we're focused on early on are not like trying to teach them how to be assistant managers.
Okay, good. You'll learn to be an assistant manager while being an assistant manager on this program. I think. Now, how many of you will agree that that's really how you learn to be an assistant?
Yeah.
You can watch a video to blue in the face, and then you have to go run an interview. It's different. Everyone's laughing here. It's true. Okay, good. Thanks for humoring me on that one. Go to the next page in the agenda. So we all have our fall professional plans for growth. Okay. Direction with training, as you know, we're transferring to a 2-day training. About 60% of the division's already on it anyway. So this is only new and foreign to about 40%. But I mean, David's already in the second 2-day training, and we're pretty much there. I think there's been a lot of overhype and buildup, but just it's caution on how being careful with the new training. Direction with receptionists, there are none really. That's the direction is away fully. Except in some cases, we're finding that district offices having one receptionist staff for a few hours a day during goal period can help with the campus response. But other than that, really no receptionists. How many of you can attest, a little amen to, it just makes the job way more simple? That alone, I think. That alone. The process of hiring and training.
Right receptionist.
Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about there. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Did anyone have their receptionist program, aka their 18 and 19-year-old college student women, destroy your business because it wasn't done right? I did. No more. Eliminate that. I think Andrew and I had a really deep, not heated, but very intense, like, oh my gosh, the reason people fail is they can't get this. Most branches, and I agree with him. One-on-one calls, just so you know the direction. A players, heads up. Every month, the A player invite will change. It's not going to be the same people. So if you got invited to last night's A player, doesn't mean you'll get invited to the next one. And if you didn't, doesn't mean you won't get invited to the next one. The goal is to get invited every single time. And There's some people who miss a couple, but the goal is to at least get the invite. I think that's a big thing. At least get the invite to the division manager wanting to get extra time with quote unquote the most impressive people for that cycle. And if you do that, I think that's going to put you on pace. What are some things do you think I'm using to evaluate A-player invites? It's not just if I like you, because there's people I like that I didn't invite to make a point.
Personal sales.
Personal sales, okay. And remember, we talked about this at COC. There's either consistency selling, where you're always hitting the newsletter of 750, or there's agreement selling, where you might not be selling every week, but you already agreed to it, that you would step up during blank pushes. What else goes into A-player selection? Punctuality, good. What else? A-player selection. What else do you think goes into that? One more time?
Communication.
Yeah, high communication, responsiveness to communication. There are some people where I reach out and it takes days for them to respond. That's not great, and we can fix that, but that's not a great A-player stat. A-players are really good communicators. They don't hide when things are tough. What else? Other A-player things we're looking for?
I'll just say lead by example.
Yeah, everything by example. Assignments, you name it. Okay, you got it. Next level call. So if you guys pull out your planners, I want to try and get to a consensus here. Okay. So per our conference call, I don't prefer, and it's been pretty clear that you guys don't prefer 8 in the morning on Friday. So we will ix that if you choose to. We don't have to. We've done it 8 o'clock on Fridays before, by the way. Rough for some of you. Yeah. I am proposing 4:15 to 5:15. So if someone would have a conflict, who would have a conflict with Mondays? And it's not every Monday, by the way, because sometimes, like for example, I'm at PLS Presidential Leadership Summit one of the weeks. I've got a DVM meeting another week. I'll be on personal vacation for another week. So it's not every Monday, but depending on the month, it's a good portion of the Mondays. So who would not? Let's go tally. Who would have a conflict with Monday 4:15?
I have an interview at 5:15.
Okay, so that's not too much of a conflict. Should be 4 or 4:15. Anyone else in tally? No? Okay. Anyone here live in front of me would have a conflict? What time?
5:15.
What time's the interview?
He's a 5:15 interview.
Perfect. So he can still make 4:15. Okay.
We have a 4:45 interview. But
maybe you slide it.
Back.
Yeah. Anyone else virtually?
What about 821 on Mondays?
What about it? You guys are running it? Oh, in tally, you might be. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get this perfect. So for those of you that aren't going to be able to get it, I think you're going to have to make up the notes on the calls that we have. And they're all going to be recorded. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Cool? Everyone okay with that? And I'm not going to mandate that it's live on Zoom. I don't mind if it's conference call as long as you guys. Here's what I know: if you guys are slumping on the calls, not paying attention, and taking it while you're in the courtyard and hanging out in the sun and not taking notes, it'll show next summer. So it's not. We're going to run great calls. We're going to dive in, and the people who are taking notes and diving in from checkpoint to checkpoint, you'll see in the results. So I am going to either start at 4 or 4:15. Let's see. My call goes with Scott till 4. We'll say 4:15 to 5 p.m. Or you know what? To be safe, let me give it an hour, and if it ends early, it's better. So 4:15 to 5:15 on Mondays, and just so you have it, the first one coming up will be on the 11th. So so next week.
So not today.
Not today.
Oh.
No call today at 4:15. And just so you have it, we will have the call on the 11th. We will not have the call on the 18th. I'll be at PLS. And then question mark on the 25th, because I'll be visiting Mike Abramowitz's office, but I probably will still do the call. So put it for now, and I can always take it out later.
For the 25th?
Mm-hmm, for the 25th. So the 11th. and 25th. And then I'll have someone post this on the WhatsApp, please. Then October 16th. Then the 23rd. Then the 30th. So I'll review September 11th and 25th, October 16th, 23rd, and 30th.
So no October 2nd.
Right, no October 2nd, I'll be at SLC.
Make it the 7th.
October 16th, 23rd, and 30th. November 6th, which is right before Olean. Skip the 13th, we'll be in Olean. th and 27th. So we're just skipping one. We're just skipping the 13th in November. We'll do the 4th and the 11th and the 18th. So there'll be 11 calls this semester. Okay. So if you could do me a favor and go to the handouts, it says the second handout in order is A Squad Growth Call, Spring 2016. And it looks like this. I'll share screen. Okay. So this is what we covered last spring, and I'm trying to move it closer to the fall. Okay. My goal is that in the spring it's a lot of review. In the fall, this is edge training. So take a look at the topics we covered. This is what we did last year. Okay. Eight is great. It had to do with 8 hours a week of training in an office, which may or may not apply this year. We talked about the day in the life of an intentional branch. So what daily routines were implemented? So you could argue that was too late. Base pay management, kit management, fast start. So you can see some of the stuff was just button up admin that I don't think moves the business. So I don't think this agenda is appropriate for the fall. So if I were to go through, if I were to pick everyone's big, take a look at the board. And if you're in Tally or virtual, go ahead and take a look at the picture. We'll do a quick roll down. I want everyone to vote on their big 5. Of all the things we covered here, what would be the 5 that you would say, you know what, if we could make sure we crush this, and some of these might take 2 calls. Some of these topics are 2 calls. Like I don't think event-to-event management. Event-to-event. I don't think event-to-event is 1 call. So if you guys can read my handwriting kind of, sort of, not really. Let's go through. Let's mark off. We'll do a quick roll down. What are the roll down meaning? You give me your 5. If you're in Tallahassee, Indiana, or Puerto Rico, just post it, and I'll have Luke read them off to me at some point. So when you're ready, give me your 5, just like at COC or 8-player meeting. Whoever's ready, give me your 5. Just shout them out.
Staff meeting.
Staff meeting, okay.
Facebook. Event to event.
A
fire number. and skill check assignment. Or assignment.
Okay, cool. Who's ready? Who else? Michelle, Alex.
Triple threat.
Uh-huh.
TV and leverage.
Uh-huh.
Staff meetings.
Uh-huh.
Facebook blasting and then WhatsApp.
WhatsApp culture. Okay. Who else was ready? Who's good? Quickly. Yell them out.
Fire number,
Uh-huh.
staff meeting,
Uh-huh.
standards,
Where's that? Here.
CTC,
Uh-huh.
quality recruits, and edge
I'm gonna say edge training is what we're doing. So this is good. Who else? Yell them out. Read.
Staff meeting,
Uh-huh.
fire number,
Uh-huh.
Facebook,
Uh-huh.
event to event,
Uh-huh.
assignments.
Uh-huh. Who's next? Tyler.
Events or yeah.
And then
events,
if you guys could post it on Tally, anyone virtual, post it and Luke will read them all.
events.
Okay.
Skills and assignments.
Uh-huh.
Triple threat.
Uh-huh.
Fire number. Facebook.
Uh-huh. Who else is ready?
Benchmark PDI.
What is it?
Benchmark PDI.
Middle dome.
Skill checks assignment. Fire number, Facebook, and event to event.
Okay. It's Luke.
Fire number, staff meeting, big three. Big three.
Yeah. Like setting your, that's included. Morning routines.
Triple threat. WhatsApp culture. I got a lot from virtual interview.
Standards. DDJ.
Uh-huh.
Fire number.
Uh-huh.
WhatsApp. Triple threat.
Uh-huh.
And stuff.
And Luke, if you could just tally them up. Staff meeting. You can say staff meeting add 6. Who else? Over here. Antoine.
Fire number.
Uh-huh.
Facebook blasting.
Uh-huh.
Event to event.
Uh-huh.
Quality recruits.
Uh-huh.
And standards.
Troops. Who else? Mr. Denny.
Fire number.
Uh-huh.
Triple threat.
Uh-huh.
Facebook blasting.
Uh-huh.
Event to event.
Uh-huh.
And I would say quality recruits.
Quality recruits, good.
event to event,
Uh-huh.
benchmark PDI, staff meeting,
Benchmark PDI. Uh-huh. Staff meeting. Uh-huh.
fire number,
Fire number.
Ginjo.
Gingiba. Who else? Who's missing? Jackson, did you do yours? You just did, yeah. Anyone else missing here? Okay, Luke's gonna give me the virtual here.
Add 5 fire number.
Okay.
Add 4 to Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Add 6 to triple threat.
Uh-huh.
WhatsApp is gonna get 5.
Uh-huh.
Meeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 staff meeting.
Uh-huh.
Then we got skills check assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Got low cap percentage to start 1.
This is probably the same. Uh-huh.
What's that? Facebook. We already got Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Big 3.
Uh-huh.
That's 1.
Uh-huh.
Talk through college and DDJ culture. 2. Event to event 1.
Okay.
Event to event another.
Uh-huh.
Assignments again. Then 2 more Facebook blasting, 1 more fire number, 1 more skills, or 2 more skills check assignment culture, 1 more triple threat, 2 more WhatsApp. 1 more
Okay. What do you think? This is easy. This is spring. I can just teach you. I can on a call teach you 20% rule, I already changed your business. You guys know 20% rule? It's just, it's not even oh, how do I feel? It's almost mathematical. You just, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is becoming apparent as people vote? What are you seeing? What are you taking from this? And we're essentially creating the agenda. Well, first of all, we just did what's called a roll down. Some of you, this is the second time you've done this with me, or third or fourth. What are you learning about doing a roll down? What's great about a roll down?
Usually what's the most important thing right now?
According to who?
Everyone.
Yeah. Did I give any feedback?
No.
Did I say no, Ray? That shouldn't be one. Did I boost up any? Oh, that's awesome. That's a good one. No. Zero opinion or feedback from me. No swaying of anything. Why? What does that do from a business standpoint? What's that?
You don't get people to change their opinions because of your opinion.
Okay. Everyone feels what?
Heard.
Okay. Even though we don't have a lot DVM leveraging, that will come naturally. Where does DVM leveraging also go into? Probably doing the job and cut through college. Okay. What else is becoming apparent? It's kind of cool exercise. Antoine.
I think cut up to a friend's point, what's important now, but I think it's more important to examine what's changed.
Yeah, what's changed? A lot. The business has changed. And what's one thing that goes above here that we'll definitely work on? It's training. I mean, training sets kind of everything up. And can you imagine if you had just trained on these circles this fall versus whatever the hell you trained on before? Raise your hand if you can identify 2 or 3 things you worked on. You go, why did I put time into blank? Who can identify? What did you put time into? Steroid interview.
It was important, but we kind of changed that into like setting up to the group interview. So it kind of just.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that evolved. I wouldn't say it was a bad choice at all. Yeah. What else? Anything where you go, man, I was really putting, like for example, in the pilot, we put 0 instruction. Luke and I spent 0 planning on how to run a Wednesday team meeting.
Went great.
And they were great. I mean, but because we had a lot of people, they had assignments, they booked a lot of phone jams, and I just kind of let Luke do his own thing. Clearly, if you were on Snapchat, he just did his own thing. But it was, to me, it wasn't a big mover in the business. Other takeaways on that? Okay. I would like to do this. Andrew, since you're here, and Luke, this is kind of the video that didn't make it, if you will. I want to combine what you took away from Andrew and Luke's video from last year. So if you can pull up those notes, I'm going to skip around a little bit. And then Andrew and Luke, I'd love for you to give a couple of thoughts on essentially launching your summer again, or re-keys to your summer. So let's go here. Let's go here first. Good shot. What were some takeaways from Luke and Andrew's video from last year? Essentially what they did 2 summers ago. Yes.
Well, they had a plan of action through consulting with one another as to what was working best for them.
Meaning what?
Meaning they saw, okay, they both got on the Herman's train. They both talked with each other. So they made their circle of influence very intentionally, learned from the right people, and they reached out only to those.
Yeah, and they were really tight on who they spoke to. They're really tight. I've said no to a lot of people in the last 7 weeks outside the company. Can you do this? I've been asked to speak on 8 calls. I said yes to 2. One, because whenever this person asks, I'm always going to say yes no matter what they say. The second one, because I wanted to help that specific team. Other than that, I said a lot of no's to a lot of people I normally wouldn't say no to, just because I learn to say no sometimes. What do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're saying yes all the time, then you can't give. What else? What else is standing out? Francisco.
Tie reps to your office goals, not just sales, but also PRs. They are tied into their goals, they're gonna move their business.
Yeah, and did you notice that in the pilot and in Metro Miami, there was an excitement for building the team, and it's just nonstop. It was nonstop how many people wanted to be on our teams. And I know that was tips from 2 summers ago, but what else?
Getting a couple of those key team players on the team early.
Yeah, it goes back to getting the quality recruits, and then this is where triple threat comes in. And LU, by the way, that's part of that. What else? Tyler.
Yeah, just TLA and DVM leverage for first weekend pop, and that kind of gets them bought into the rest of the summer.
Okay. How about virtually? Good. How about San Juan, Indiana, Tally? Anyone?
Jeff is good. Just one of the quotes that Andrew had was learn how to talk to your reps so you were managing them, not micromanaging, so that they almost become self-efficient. And that was just one of my big takeaways.
Yeah, and then how do we do that? We manage and manage through questions. Sorry. Manage through questions. What else? Virtually. We'll go virtually.
Yeah. So one of the things I took away was debriefing each day at home, like when running a function, training day one, watching videos and compare the function to what you did, like Luke said. So,
Yeah. Okay. So this is Luke. There's a lot of what I call jam training in spring, like jam it in training, and it's appropriate. But after a while, I mean, you can only water a plant so much, right? And in fact, if you water a plant too much, what happens? You kill the plant. So at some point, you got to stop that, and you just have to do. But then the most important learning is once you do it. Let's say you've been looking over the seminar, then you run your first training. Then you go, oh gosh, whoa. That first training of the seminar of the summer should be longer because you should be stopping more, taking more breaks, taking notes. And at the end, this is what Luke did. He would call me and we would debrief. It was almost like the debrief of a demo. He would call me after the end of each day and say, all right, here's what I did really well. Here's what was terrible. Here's what I'm looking at tonight. We did it for 2 cycles. And it's funny, 2 cycles later, Grant and Kirsten, or 1 cycle later. 1 cycle later, Grant and Kirsten came in and they're okay. How about Tally? Any other takeaways down there?
I think PR first and just like being 5 stars.
Little louder, Dalila.
PR.
Yeah, PR stands for personal recruits.
And like 5 stars and just the importance of like really prioritizing PRs and 5 stars.
Right, making them a priority. Okay, yes, sir.
One of my biggest ones was showing up at the office at 8 to create something that wouldn't have been created otherwise. Just having reps come in the morning.
Yeah. Luke, what time are you at the office every day? Minus the whatever days you're on, like
7:45.
Yeah, 7. There wasn't a day in the summer, well, Sundays, where Luke was in past 7:45. Yet I know for a fact branches will show up at 9, 9:30. So I don't have a lot of reps. That's sometimes how it's justified. I don't have a lot of reps, but it's interesting. Consistency is key, right? It's almost like they're waiting to have reps to get in early. And it works the other way around. So, plus when you're in earlier, what are you doing? You're more efficient. It's like going to the gym. You know that. Okay, real quick. Oh, you have one more.
I was gonna say using Facebook blasting to get the type of people in line.
Yeah, Facebook blast. It's funny because in the pilot, our Facebook blasting wasn't as great of a conversion to start the summer initially, but looking back, that surge of 10, 15, whatever reps we got, not even 5 to 10 reps, created probably $300,000-$400,000 in business from that chain. So, yes, sir.
Knowing exactly who's confirmed for Champions Club or like morning meetings.
Yeah, so tracking.
How many demos are set for the day.
And tracking is such a big part of summer one. Last summer we weren't tracking anything, and then Luke, I could call you in any specific hour of the day, and Luke knew what we were at for the day. Part of it too is Rolo culture. Mm-hmm. Whenever I hear a manager say, "Well, we have a couple more orders that aren't Rolo," what do you mean? It should be Rolo live. Your Rolo should be lifetime, not I think we have blank out there. That should be crazy to you. How do you not put an order through? Then it's not really an order, right? Andrew and Luke, I'd love for you guys to chime in. It doesn't have to be the full, obviously we're not doing the full video here, but if you could go back now on top of last year's video, we're talking about this year. What were the things in preparation beforehand? And Luke, I'll start with you. You talked about what you focused on the fall more so than the spring. Let's do that for a second. Let me turn things towards.
Yeah, I think fall was a very big personal growth focus. There was things like morning routine, fitness, expanding my capacity to grow as a person. And the technical stuff follows suit, especially in the spring. I think most of my learning in the spring was training my assistants, where I was kind of re-engaging with these programs. I didn't really have a local office last fall and spring, but just a great way to stay on it is by teaching. And teaching assistants, teaching TLA,
doing whatever you can to take on kind of those learn from circles, and through teaching those as they would brush up on all the technical stuff. But a lot of my growth just came from personally what I was able to do, you know, establishing morning routine, fitness stuff, diet stuff, energy management, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Luke cut 20 pounds that semester, and then another 5 to 10 in spring. It's good. It's a big part of it because what he had to do to the outcome there was just the weight, but that was nothing because what had to go into that was the time he was getting up, choices he was making, and he still had a lot of fun. Trust me. I live vicariously through it a little bit. Anything else Andrew, what would you say? Or how this? Any questions for Luke with regards to what he just said? What I focused on in the fall versus the spring.
It doesn't mean ignore the technicals during the fall at all either. But
yeah, what he said was he's not ignoring the technicals. It's just his big priorities were himself, getting himself in the right place to lead, be a great leader, great habits. That stuff. I'm just telling you, it ain't happening in January, February, March. It's already too late, believe it or not. If you're not working out by the time you get to the year-end banquet, you're not working out for the summer because it won't stick. There's no way. There's no way. I knew who was working out. I knew, like when remember we were working out the prep kill meeting? I said, oh, she's going to work out all summer because she's been doing this forever. It's not just about working out. It's just all those things. Any other questions for Luke on that specific? Andrew, how about you? What would you say when you're thinking about preparation from last year?
Yeah, I say it. I mean, it's really similar to what Luke said. Big things for the fall is beyond personal growth development, developing the right habits, reading, just to do a lot of audibles, taking notes, kind of like self-reflection stuff and just growing interpersonally. I would say that was one of the big things. So just like working with my communication skills and my ability to work with people. So very general skills in the fall. And then the spring was just really kind of fine tuning those, getting my assistant managers ready. Like Luke said, I had weekly meetings with them, and that helped us all get on the same page and get ready to roll for the summer. And just kind of fine tune my ability to coach with the other people throughout the spring, and then kind of establish systems and programs that we're going to execute this summer.
Here's a good question. It's a little bit more direct and blunt. Why is it, Andrew and Luke, that more people don't ship over 200 grand? What are they missing? I'll go start with Andrew. Like, why isn't it then? To me, every brand should ship 125. What's the trip?
125.
Every brand should hit 125.
As in, why don't most?
Yeah, I really believe. And take out the receptionist program, because that's a big part of it now. But aside from receptionist program, how come most branches don't do 124? Even better than that. That's probably I shouldn't have said that. Every branch should profit at a high level, especially this summer. Ready? This is how the business is changing. All the company startup pays all your office expenses this year. Every dollar Cutco gives you used to go to mailers and receptionists, and maybe you had to work that little trick to get your security deposit to pay, but you might at least keep your security deposits. That whole game. Some of your assistants, you don't know this. Branches, you know the game. The money jungle game. But I want that money, but I can't touch that money, but I can touch that money, but I can touch that money. Which money can I touch? But Scott says, no, I have to put this closing form in. All of those expenses will pay your office rent and your office opening, and your expenses are paid for. So everything in personal startup, if you don't have a sponsor, is now your personal expenses. But all of you will have sponsors. We're going to have 100% sponsorship. I don't know where, how, and who, but all of you will have either a room and board or food all covered by one person or by multiple people. So, Andrew, back to you. Why do you think that taking out the receptionist program now and how difficult that is for people to work on? Why is it, do you think, that most people don't profit at a high level, don't hit 125, aren't going to Germany? How come we only have, ready? Let me see it real quick. How come we only have for Germany?
I think a couple different things. I'd say the first one is I just don't feel like most people work actually that hard when they actually go out there. Or they work hard, but they're just not working on the right things, right? So like they're tricking themselves into thinking they're working hard, but really just they're at their office not really doing much. that's actually impacting the business.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you for a second. How many of you have felt like, man, I was working really hard. You're really in your office, but you didn't do anything. You didn't really drive anything.
Yeah, so that would be the first one. And then the second one, I'd say, is just that so many people train throughout the fall and spring. They learn how to recruit, but they don't learn how to manage and replicate. So a lot of first years, you see how people come out strong and they recruit and they train kids and they get to sell and they don't have teams that rely because everyone quit. And that's usually just something that that's why you branch multiple times. You have to learn how to actually manage people. And a lot of times you don't get that experience that much as an assistant manager. So you really only get it when you go out.
Yeah, assistant managers are running the interviews to get the people on the team and then PDIing them after they're trained. It's the greatest job in the world. It's the easiest job in the world. Maybe not in the world. Luke, what would you say? Why do most branches not?
Kind of echo what he said. I would put it work smart. It's not that you don't work hard, but just working smart, doing things that are going to drive the business in the hours that you have to drive the business. I mean, I know early in April and May, I just outworked everyone. I was here super late at night, but I knew that was the time that I was going to be here super late at night getting work done. Just having self-discipline.
Then a month and a half, 2 months later, every night they were at the Funky Buddha Brewery and getting burgers on Mondays and out of the office. Believe it or not, when the pilot was shipping 30K Mondays, they were out by 7:30 at the bar. Well, the bar. The bar, the burger joint. Burger joint. And that's not the goal. But the point made is we worked really hard, but we didn't. Working hard for me is not working more than outworking people, physically, time-wise. If there's any division manager to work for who's trying to work smart and not more, it's me. Because I have a family I want to raise that doesn't have time for a division manager that's going to be in the office from 9 till midnight. And I refuse for you guys to learn how to run that. Now, there's a time for that. There's a time where I work Sundays. Now, if I came in on a Sunday, whoa, hey, what is what? Jeff? You guys know Jeff? But there was a time where I worked Sundays a lot to build it. So, Andrew, do you have any other final thoughts? I mean, I think you guys hit it for the most part.
I think self-discipline, just managing oneself is a big book for me too. You can't manage other people until you learn to manage yourself, and when you can not just we take so much away from conferences and books and stuff, and we're so inundated with growth all the time that I feel like so many people just kind of read it and don't move on. But if you don't actually make unconditional commitments with yourself to actually change something in your life, you're not going to grow. And I think that's a really big part of. I mean, there's people that go through the TLA and go through the motions, or you can go through this second, third, fourth round of TLA and actually implement the things and kind of see the growth that comes from it. And that's one of the ways you can work better with people. That's one of the ways you can be more adaptable to programs. And programs change. We can learn all the technical stuff, but programs change. I didn't know what Fire Number was before the summer started, but it ended up being the most crucial program in the summer. So when you're able to just work on things kind of intangibly that way, you're able to apply them in different ways for sure.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out, and I'm going to stop the share screen here. I can say confidently a couple of skills that I think all great managers that experience success. Mike showed this summer. The pilot showed this. Andrew showed this. A lot of Danny Lewis, who I talked to a lot this summer. He was the number. What were we in? 2 behind Drew. So we were number 2. They were number 3 or 4. They're number 4. Oh, Andrew. There you go. Andrew, number 3. And then Danny Lewis, pilot, number 4. And I talked to him a lot. It's the ability to adapt quickly and jump on the hot program. But my job is different. Okay, so ready? We're finding that just setting the fire number, and you don't have to set them up for all these. We went into the summer. You got to run about 10 to 15 1-on-1s throughout the week. You're like, oh my gosh, where do I have time for this? Very quickly, we found out. Even Andrew, we didn't have to run any 1-on-1s. We set them, but we set them as almost like a receptionist to a group interview. That was a midsummer adjustment. And it is clear as day. I can, that little exercise when you're at all the people who show up to SC1, you put a line, all the people who don't make it to SC1, see who's here at the end of the summer. It's the same with your offices. I can look at all of your offices and I can say you adjusted, you did not, and your results followed. Now, some of you recovered. Many didn't. Like 3 or 4 of you recovered from not hitting it. But when you don't get on the fight, people who didn't get on the fight, Mike jumped on it. Mike was, jump. He went from, I don't want to do this, to he was sitting 15 on a Sunday and another 10 to 15 on a Sunday. I mean, he was leading the region on manager set, and it changed his business. The ability to adapt. My job is to filter out what you jump on. That's the other skill. That's the opposite. It's like the opposite skill. So how do you jump on the hot program? Second skill is how do you not jump too quickly? You know the chocolate cake analogy I always use? Oh, I ate chocolate cake on Wednesday. I didn't get fat. Therefore, if I eat chocolate cake every day, I won't be a fatty. No, you'll be a fatty if all you eat is chocolate cake every day. What's wrong with using that example of one day I eat chocolate cake, I'm not fat? What's wrong with that? What's that?
Well, it's a fallacy.
But why? It's not even fallacy. How come that's not accurate? Why is that not smart business?
We're not consistently eating chocolate cake.
Yeah, it's one instance. It's too remote of it. It's too, your sample size is too small. So, ready? I'm going to use one. This is just a general example, but specific to one office. Oh, we didn't run a Sunday phone jam 1 week in the summer, but we popped a big week. Therefore, we don't need Sunday phone jams the whole summer. Perfect. When you hear that, how does it sound? Logic, not logic? Smart, not smart? There was a manager that did that. You know, we had a big pop on we shipped up a big week. We didn't have anyone show up to Sunday phone jam. We're just canceling Sunday phone jam. Sunday's off. Done. Well, what's the second question you didn't ask? He or she didn't ask. Where's that? Where do the numbers come from? It came from a small training group where 2 people popped 10K. So that's not really an accurate report. You have to ask multiple questions. So just business deduction, deductive reasoning is a really big skill. And the manager's adjusted, by the way, but it's just important. Any questions? Okay. I'm just curious, what's everyone taking from this? I think just from what Andrew. Oh, Andrew, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to add like one last tip.
No, please.
I was just gonna say, big thing too, like, is just especially like when you're new and it's like your first time running your branch, just don't get overwhelmed. Keep it simple. You know, we were talking about keeping it simple earlier. I think about like people like I remember Caitlin. Denny's birthday, someone was texting me, and I've talked to her on the phone a couple times, and she sold like 200 plus this summer.
She was number 5. Number 5.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, she did really well this summer. I had no idea what she was doing. Literally no idea. Every time I talked to her, the only thing she did really well was with buyer number. She had 30 personal. She set 30 personally herself every single week, and so she was recruiting more than anyone at the beginning, the first couple weeks. That's literally almost like when I talked to her, that's like the only thing she was doing right. But she did one thing really right, and that's like the one thing that she was actually pouring her energy into was one of the things that specifically moves the needle on the business versus pouring energy into like one rep that's sitting in your phone jam or sitting in your meeting for 3 hours teaching them how to close it, like doing stuff like that, where you think you're impacting a lot, but it's really doing the thing for your business. And she poured her energy into time into like one thing that specifically did impact it. And so that's just a good example of like, you know, even as a branch, you might not be able to do everything. Like you might not know everything, but just focus on the things that are actually going to move the needle on your office on a weekly basis. And like, even if you fail everything else, like if you do those things and execute those at a high level, you're still going to perform.
I agree. Luke.
I think that's also a testament to running multiple offices, because that's something that I didn't know when I ran Boca, but something that I was able to do when I came back to the pilot was kind of identify what, like, when you run multiple offices, you can fix the stuff you're bad at, but you can really also capitalize on the stuff you're good at. And I know I'm really good at one-on-one recruiting and getting sharp kids in. I'm not very good at group interviews. I didn't run a single group interview this summer. I haven't run two, but I was really good with one-on-one recruiting, so I ran a lot of 5-stars. You know, when you can recognize what you're good at and capitalize on that, when there are a lot of managers out there that are really, really, really high-level managers and they're good at a couple things and they capitalize on, they just crush those things. So yeah. I know I can drive a sales week. I know I can't run a group interview. And when I can recognize that, I can build on those things and just kind of exponentially grow the business.
Yeah, the first summer is what you build upon. Right? Brandon can speak to that. Rhiannon can speak to that. Luke can speak to that. Andrew can speak to that. If you run multiple offices, that first office is going through it. You guys remember when we went go-kart racing? Who went multiple rounds? Right? The first one, I remember going slow, like granny slow. It was kind of scary. It was kind of fat, and then towards the end, I was pedal all the way down. What do you call it? Drifting.
Yes.
It was awesome. So the next one, I just pedaled it as soon as I got out. But I wouldn't have known that unless I went the first round. And got passed by David 3 times. Or did I hit you? I hit someone. Who did I hit? I hit someone. Sorry. Was that you? No. Who has go-kart racing?
I hit you pretty hard.
Yeah, you did hit me pretty hard. My neck hurt from that one.
Good pleasure.
Okay. So let's do this. I think we can finish a little bit early so that you guys can stretch out, and I'll order some food. Can you, Laura, we're gonna order some pizza for the group. So just order pizza for the group. 3 slices per. Safe. Thank you. So real quick, I want to cover money for a second because I think it's always an important topic, and we're going to talk about money all the time. I know money is different for different people, and you've heard this before. Some people come from the we don't talk about money family. It's disrespectful. It's adult stuff. Guess what? You want to run adult level businesses. What do you have to talk about? Money. But if that's how your family is raised, okay, so we're going to unwire that. Some people come from the, oh, spend it all because you never know. YOLO. Okay, and don't save today because you never know. And then some of you come from the third family, which is save everything for a rainy day. You got to save, save, save. You got to save, don't spend. Doesn't matter which family you're from. What matters is which family you're going to be from. And the family here is we're going to talk about money all the time. There's no embarrassment about money. All the stupid things you do with money, which all of you do stupid things with money because I did stupid things with money. I'm really good with money now because I ran my first branch with money. You know what I'm saying? And I learned, and you know that story of having 10 grand in my fund account and then a month later it was gone that fast? That's one of those, oh, I just spent 10 grand on fun. Wow. Right? Fast. I don't want you to already learn from me. That's just, and a lot of people have those examples. Learn to be open with money. We're going to capitalize. You're going to get good and proficient with it. You're going to get good with your taxes and your credit score. You're going to get good at saving money. You're going to be under 25 and have already invested more than most people at 50. You will. In fact, we have people in the room already like that. So with that being said, I want to spend a few minutes on money. Then I want to do a quick debrief on the book. And then I'll give you your next assignment, and we will get ready to embrace and welcome the first years here for Powerful Prep. Cool? So before we continue, you need my money? Yes. Hey, Andrew, if you guys order pizza and tally, send me the receipt. I'll pay for it, okay?
Sounds good.
For the big group. And then Grant, if you go in your frat house to another room and order get something from the fridge and eat it, that's on you. You don't have food? Oh, sorry. Okay. Money for a second, okay? Another be quick. I'm going to cover, Luke's dad's going to cover some really great points. I'm excited to hear him deliver for you guys today. But one thing I want to make sure we implement more so at the next level is the $100 rule. And some of you have heard this before. 2 of you are saying, oh yeah, my manager does this. Your manager got it from me. Okay? 2 of you. $100 rule is not a mandate. Luke can speak to this. It's not a mandate. It's not that you have to. The $100 rule is if you're going to spend over $100 before you swipe that card, okay, text me. Say, $100 for this, what do you think? And I'll never tell you have to. I'll never say, Jackson, absolutely not, or yes, go for it. I'll just ask you questions. And I want you to go through the questions that you probably wouldn't ask yourself. And when I go through those processes, if you get to the yes, I'm going to still swipe it, then cool. But not before you go through smart questions on it. And a lot of times, and Luke will speak to this every year, he talks about this, where you go through the questions I ask you and you go, and you decide not to swipe. Because it's smarter not to. Then later, when you get to a similar situation, you don't have to text me. You just go through the same questions. Very similar to why you want people calling you from every demo when they're new. It's the same exact thing. Luke, can you speak to $100 rule when you're newer and what you learn from it? And because some people have done it, some people are new to it, some people know about it and still don't do it. And this year was a little weak on it. To be fair.
I just remember that was something that I hopped on early on, and once you, they'll manage you through questions, and you'll come up with everything on your own, and you'll figure out if you actually need something or you don't. But it's just $100 for us right now, $100 in an investment. We're not customers. So being able to,
if you're good with 100 now, when there's an extra zero, you're good with the extra zero. And then when there's 2 extra zeros, you're good with the 2 extra zeros. $100 for you is like probably 10,000 for me now. But I do the same things with 10,000 that I do with 100 when I was younger, without teaching you guys. I don't just say, oh yeah, vacation, no problem. We had a big summer. Let's just have a vacation, honey. Let's just go around the world. Bora Bora, in the middle of the ocean in those little tiki huts, which we're doing, but after hitting the goal first. Everything else, all the buckets are filled first before the honeymoon. That's why we're not going on a honeymoon right after our big honeymoon's not after the wedding. It's the next year when all the other buckets are filled first. We're just going to go on a mini moon, right? We're going to go for like 4 days, 3 nights versus the 2 weeks we're going to do. But that's going to be later. Delayed gratification. Same thing. I could have a BMW, but then my BMW would sit here because I live in Delaware 8 months out of the year. So why would I want a BMW that I'm paying? I know the company's paying for 500 of it, but I'm paying for the other part of it. So why would I pay $400 a month extra, that $500 extra on top of the company for a car to sit in my driveway? When I can spend $200 and get a car, and I can swap out cars all the time. It's pretty easy. Just little things like that, because I used the $100 rule. So I'm not mandating this even this year, but I'm just asking you if you really want support, circles of influence, and let's change your money habits. Reach out to me before you swipe the card on 100, and then later when you're district, it becomes 500 to 1,000. And then division managers, before I spend 10 grand, I always ask guys, hey, what do you think? I always ask Amar, what do you think? I always ask Adam Stock, what do you think? I always ask Trusted Financial, hey, what do you think about this 10 grand here? Nah, okay. Cool. Let's talk about how to be CEO real quick. How to be CEO. I'm just curious. Let's do this for next level group. This is better to do it without the first sheets here. Raise your hand. 1 to 5. 5 is outstanding mastery. How many of you would rate yourself at 3.5 or higher with money acumen? Like understanding money, relationship with money, being smart with your money. How many of you would rate yourself a 3 or higher? No. Even says the guy whose dad is a financial advisor. Right? There's some of you that come from pretty good money and are good with your money. That's okay. That's okay. That's just kind of how things roll. But learning moving forward. I think a couple of you, Tally might be. Andrew, would you consider yourself a 3 or higher with money?
3.5.
3.5? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay. I mean, says the guy with the most money in the room. So, just food for thought. We're gonna get better with money. That's part of being a great business person. And when we're done with you, you're all gonna be smart business people. Smart business. How to be CEO? Let me give you 30 seconds to pull up the notes. We'll go through this. We'll wrap up. Tyler, picture please.
NLG Group.
No, send it to Scott. I'm just kidding. Just NLG Group. I mean, okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. So, how many of you, this is your first time reading it? Oh, nice. Very nice. I would like takeaways, big 3. Pick 3. Yeah, I know there's a lot. And you guys have the summary sheets. Alex, a couple.
One of the biggest ones were, or at least one, was ideas are nothing without execution. So it's not, idea can be good, it's just how you go about executing it.
Yeah, there's a quote that says there's no reward for good intention. Right? There's no reward for good intention. I meant to have quality recruits, but if you don't have quality recruits, it doesn't mean anything. Good point. Give me another one. Give me 2.
Another one was pick your spots to shine. So
now, how's that applied to you and why that's it with you?
Just knowing, like Luke was talking about earlier, knowing what you're good at, knowing like where I could really stand out doing something and put myself ahead.
Okay, so you know your strengths. I think it's a big part. Strengths. Okay.
And the last one was if it works, don't change it. So
yeah,
there's something I'm learning from a lot of good people. It works really well. Don't try and like.
Yeah, we had a manager, one of our district managers. was doing really well with the program, and then all of a sudden the results dipped. No one, they're not in this room. And I said, well, what happened? Well, I saw someone else was doing it this way. Why'd you change it? Wasn't yours working really well? Yeah. Why did you change it? I don't know. So you mean to tell me you were getting the best results on this one particular topic? You saw someone else do it a different way, so you decided to change it. Yeah. That's not smart business. He goes, oh, yeah. But, you know, we all make not so smart choices sometimes. But think about that. Good. Anyone? Just maybe big one or two.
Biggest one was better to be a member of the shouldn't have club than the should have club.
Meaning?
But better to know than to wonder, basically, is what it boiled down to for me.
Yeah. For some of you, that might relate to a decision to branch a second time, be a district. For some of you, it's more of a just what kind of effort you put into it. Good. Other first time through? Princess, give me one, big one.
For me, my destiny and career growth is my responsibility, no one else's. So I have to put the work in. No one's gonna do it for me. And another one was do something that I know few people are willing to do.
Yeah, do something hard and lonely. Remember that one? I like that. Like working out at 5 a.m. That's hard and lonely. Toughen you up. Miss Rhiannon, we'll also go virtual next.
First off, I really like the style of this book. That was that just to the point, and I really liked that it just took out all the fluff and focused on the most important things. And when I think about being the CEO, it's focusing on those most important things.
Yeah.
And the way that whole book was
It was precise. Mm-hmm. Like precise, just there. Yeah. Good.
And the biggest one that I really like is don't take work home. Because if I do, I'm not using my time wisely at work. Real work is at home. I made me think of all the times where I went home from my branch and I'm like, oh, I'll just do this at home. I take home all the stuff and I don't get any of it done. I'm like, what did I actually do?
Yeah, exactly. So. You ever try to call me after 8? Text me? I mean, Andrew even was working with me for so long. He sent me a text. I know you won't get this to tomorrow, but I responded. I just happened, ironically enough, because normally prep's not on Saturday, all that. Normally prep's on Saturday. It was Monday. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings losing the trivia contest. Virtual, let's go virtual. We'll come back live here. Some big takeaways from How to Be CEO. We'll go tally. Let's go tally. Have an idea notebook or journal.
Yeah, you got that last night.
That's good. How many of you heard a hot tip on the call and just didn't write it down and you missed it, right? We do it all the time. Who else in tally? Amelie, go ahead.
People who know they cannot possibly know everything but are willing to work very hard to find it out. So, like, if you don't know everything.
There are division managers that don't know everything. And they're a division manager making whatever the pay is. I don't know everything. I'm still excited to figure out what the heck I'm messing up, and it's a lot. And how about in town? Who else?
Going back to like what you were trying to miss the book. Think for 1 hour every day, basically like your power hour. Plan, breathe, focus on your time.
Yeah, get 1 hour of solitary time. You can bring your best ideas. Good point. Eddie, I see your beautiful thick hair. What's your big takeaway?
The biggest takeaway, if your higher ups give you something to do it to the best of your ability, and then my other bit was go where you get the most money.
Yeah, I think when Scott says I want you to give certain talks and it's going to crush my schedule, I make sure I prioritize it so I can deliver, and it has handsomely rewarded me in many different ways. And same with some of you. Always try to make your boss look good, right? You've heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Make your boss's boss look better. That's Scott, right? Okay. Other takeaways? How about over here live? We'll go Maggie, then we'll go over to Brandon.
One of mine is know everyone's full name and something about them. Just getting to know people. And then the other one would be arrive 45 minutes early and leave 15 minutes.
Or you can show up like those guys with a plate of food right when it starts. You see that at conferences. And they're always in the back, aren't they? You play eggs and bacon in the back. Because then, they're fully engaged. Nice. And it looks really good. I have a nickname for it. It's called the Breakfast Crew. It's not a good nickname.
No.
The Breakfast Crew is always, they come right at time or late or right before, and they bring the plates because they can't get up early enough to put their stuff together. So some of you have been Breakfast Crew before, by the way, but you're getting better. Brandon.
Be a credit maker, not a credit taker.
Yeah, that's hard sometimes because our culture in Cutco and Vector is heavy recognition. So I think it's wired in a way to seek that recognition, but it's hard sometimes. So sometimes it's just let them take the credit.
For sure.
Right? Or when you have a rep, Luke, and you see one of our candidates and they say something and they don't mean to take credit and you want to say, yeah, but I taught you that. Or you just shut up. Just, hey, good point. Good point that I made. Do you know how many times I see slides that I made that other managers take credit for? All the time. All the time. Because I'm the slide guy, aren't I? And I go, oh, man. And I go, and then I'll get these texts. Looks familiar. Like, don't say anything. There's no gain in saying something, right? Rhiannon.
Spend 1 hour each day planning goals, options, and problems for that day, and having a special notebook for that.
Okay.
So just taking it to the next step as opposed to an hour a week, an hour each day.
Yeah, problem solving. Whenever I put my DVM schedule for the week out, there's all these blocks of planning. I always have newer division managers will say, what do you plan all this time? There's always something to plan. It's a sharpening the axe, if you know that story. So, with David.
One of the phrases I really liked is if you have 10 seconds to make a decision, think for 9.
Yeah, so respond, not react. You guys have heard that how many times in TLA? Respond, not react. You know, one of the best things you can learn to say is, I don't know, versus whatever crap we make up as salespeople. You ever found yourself responding, they ask a question, and you just have this long-winded, total bullshit. And you're saying something, and you're like, yeah. And you thought, God, what was that I just said? I've done it too. Where you can say, you know what, I don't know. Or the districts, they'll ask me a question. I can't give you an accurate answer. I'll even do it with Heidi sometimes. I'll say a lot. You know, baby, I can't. I really wouldn't know. I can't give you an answer right now. And it's okay to say that. It's better to say no and be educated than whatever. Luke.
I think my favorite thing about reading this was just we've had so much like shake up in kind of company and management and at the DBM table. It's cool to kind of see these things come to fruition. You can tell that you read the book 16 times. Like, make allies of your peers subordinates. Have people in this room were your peers subordinates a year ago. And it's cool to see how seamlessly that culture came together and look where we are now because of something like that.
You guys know what that means? Peers are people in your age or your group, and subordinates is under them. So what do you mean by that?
I mean, maths people. These are all maths people, and they're clicking pretty well, if you ask me. You know, I think that's a relationship that was partially established beforehand.
That's when you go to conferences, you treat everyone well, and you have respect. I told Carlos this. Carlos, we're going to work together again someday. I'm telling you, and here we are, working again together. Like together again, very quick, very closely, more than we thought.
Your brain will make you money, so keep physically fit, expand your capacity for productive and unrelenting work.
Record and collect your mistakes with care and pride, acknowledging mistakes and sign of security and confidence.
Yes, branches. What is that referring to from the summer?
Every day.
Your summer debrief. The most important notebook of the summer was May and June's notebook, or April and May. Anything else? We'll go, Alex, and back to Luke.
One of the big ones is words are cheap and deeds are dear.
Yeah, right. Actions speak louder than words. Okay.
Walk it out.
Don't smoke cigarettes.
Be on the lookout for bright ideas, but be completely indiscriminate as to the source.
Meaning, don't judge. Yeah.
Don't judge.
Don't say, "Oh, they're saying it." It's not. Well, there's some great ideas that come from the people where you go, "Really?" Yeah. So, you would not be hurting your life if you read that book every campaign. I'm telling you, there's some things with Mystique. If you notice, I don't have any alcohol at events. I don't do alcoholic beverages with any first years. But when you run a branch at the end of the summer, we go to the beach. Oh damn! I mean, we did some damage. But see, to me, what we're doing is you're creating. What's the chapter? Don't have a drink with the boys, or don't have a drink up. Don't you can stop by the party. It's kind of the same thing because you want to be able to create that mystique, and then there's this excitement to be in that next layer. So Cool. Any other takeaways virtually? We'll go and then any virtually we'll come back to.
And write handwritten follow-up notes. I noticed that we did that with conferences, and I love handwritten notes. Part of the reason I'm still here is because I've gotten them. And just giving them to your reps and showing them your appreciation on a note that we wrote for everyone.
Yeah, because it takes effort. It took time and effort. Anyone else?
Yeah, Jeff, I got one.
Yes, sir.
Just the quote, overinvest in people, attract, motivate, train, and reward the best people. Just because, no matter what you're doing in life, you can't really do much if you don't have like the support of people underneath you.
Yeah, let me give you a business strategy for me. So, for example, Beth Shishmini has been one of the most overpaid receptionists and personal assistants probably in the company. I've paid her. No one's paid what I'm paying her, but I can't tell you what she has brought to our business and now to all of Vector, running all the tech center. But I could have easily lost her. And to me, instead of nickel and diming her, well, I don't want to raise her up to blank. I put her on salary. I was paying her whatever I was paying her. People ask, well, why would you? That's such a waste of money. You should cut that expense. I said, well, this is a really, she's one of our best people behind the scenes, and it's paid off significantly. I'm not telling you to pay what I paid her to all your people. I'm saying there's certain people it's worth to invest in a little bit or a lot. Some of you have felt the financial investment of your manager, whether it's through payoffs and contests or just some financial support or whatever it might be. Any final ones? This is one of my favorite books. Adam Stock gave this to me in 2001 when he tried to recruit me to be one of his clients successfully, a long time ago.
The executive who brags she never takes a vacation is either a fool or a poor manager.
Oh, yeah. When someone says, yeah, I'll work everyone, I'll say, well, I'll be at the beach. So, and part of it, too, is I don't hide when I go on vacation. I want everyone to know I'm going off the grid, I'm on vacation, because I want people to know how you can have it and how you can build towards, because no one wants to be, you've heard that before, no one wants to be like that manager that all they do is work. I don't. So, I mean, during SC2, I wasn't taking a vacation, but I wasn't working like the other division managers, and we were tripling them. It was really cool. I mean, that was really cool. So, anyway, good stuff. What's the lesson overall with this book? If you have to put it in one theme. What's that?
How to go to the top.
Yeah, grow and act like the owner. Be the leader at the top. So, good stuff. Not everyone. I think there's probably 2 or 3 that missed the assignment deadline, so I'll address that later when I have time. But part of not just being an A player, but what I expect from next level is to make sure you hit your agreements. Part of it is super high communication. If you have conflicts with an event, I expect a full 1 week notice. I think that's fair. Have a full 1 week notice. And I think there were a couple of hiccups here and there. It's not going to be perfect the first time, but let's be better. Let's get better. For those of you that missed the assignment, you missed it, and you owned up to it. If you haven't, please own up to it, and let's move forward. But just recognizing that book is essentially how to grow up. And when you grow up personally, like that book teaches you, your business will follow suit. It's not the other way around. It's not the other way around. So speaking of growing and managing yourself, let's take a look at the agenda. We'll wrap up here. The next book due for assignment and the 1-page summary will be due the Friday night before prep. So next prep is September 23rd.
Yes.
Okay, so the 22nd, so Friday, will be due by 9 p.m. It's Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. And we actually read this for only the 2nd time last year. This is a great book. And Luke just mentioned this book. Antoine, you've read this, Managing Oneself. And I think some of us could read it 3 or 4 times. Okay, let's go quick round the horn. Biggest takeaway for you, and what do you appreciate? And we'll go to session here. Keep in mind, I'm not going to review what I need from you, but be present. Let's get transition to help David with the chairs. Let's get music and tempo. Let's greet everyone with energy and excitement. And I want you guys to spread out across the room and be able to participate at a high level. Okay? So, yes, sir. Quick question.
No, I'm just gonna go.
We'll go around the horn. Same order. Okay. So we'll go Soleil. We'll go Antoine. We'll go to this table. Then we'll go to Tally, Indiana, Puerto Rico, and then we'll wrap up over here. Soleil, biggest takeaway. What do you appreciate?
My biggest takeaway is actually how you did this whole system, like Simon said, the best leaders will week's last. And I thought that was really awesome to see. And what I appreciate is getting to see everybody again before I go back to school.
There you go. Antoine.
It's what's always appreciate biggest takeaway.
Biggest takeaway, what do you appreciate quickly?
Biggest takeaway is that there's always two things you can control: attitude and effort. Focus. And what I appreciate now.
Yeah.
So,
All right, good. Mr. Ross.
Biggest takeaway was just seeing everything that I need to work on personally and get better at. And what I appreciate is just being here.
Yeah.
Surrounded by good people.
By the way, we all have a lot to work on. Yeah. Please don't take it as you're all screwed up. We're all screwed up together equally. It's pretty awesome. We're just a whacked out group.
So the biggest takeaway is the whole book. Really. And then what I appreciate is that you're getting a student.
Oh yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
For me, biggest takeaway was to see, like in the board, what was the things I need to get better at that are important. And I also appreciate the big surgery.
Okay. Tyler.
Yeah, for me, just grow personally, and the professional growth will follow suit. And I appreciate the hotel. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Welcome. We'll go Tallahassee. We'll go Gabe and around the horn to Andrew.
Yeah, okay. My biggest takeaway was just looking at every single thing we did last year and comparing it to kind of what we could have done a little bit better. I was seeing and Andrew and us getting compared to the end. And what I appreciate is just the ability to be here, the ability to kind of realize that, get better, and kind of put myself in that place.
Good. That's exciting. And then I did get your message. I haven't had a chance to check it, but I'll check it at some point. Thanks, Gabe. Eddie.
Biggest takeaway is just kind of what we're all doing right now with fall. Is the time to set up all the habits that we're going to need for spring to then dominate the summer. Overall, what I appreciate is just being surrounded constantly by people that are trying to create the habits for the spring, dominate summer.
Outstanding. Miss Maddie.
My biggest takeaway was just keep it simple, order it to what's actually important. I appreciate just being here.
Yeah, well, we appreciate having you. Thank you. Dalila.
My biggest takeaway is to attract sharper people, so I need to become sharper myself. And I appreciate, I just got a text for a signature, so that's a little bit that.
Who are you? Hey, by the way, you know who you are? You're going to Munich. That's who you are. Nice job. Nice job. I have to recognize that. So it'll be Jeff and Heidi, Micah Bromwitz and Lindsay, Carlos and Erica. Let's see, Grace Velez hit it. Karina hit it, or will hit it. Andrew Evans will hit it, right? Yeah. Will you hit it, Andrew? Just kidding. Just joking. Just joking. Orlando already hit it? Or about to hit it, yeah. David Vargas, about to hit it. Brandon hit it. Jackson hit it. Rhiannon hit it. Delila hit it. Did I miss anyone? Oh, and Luke. Well, Luke's coming too. So that's gonna be one time. Okay. Thank you, Delila. Sean.
Biggest takeaway is just set your habits now. That way, when it comes to the summer, you're already on it.
Okay. Good. JP.
Biggest takeaway was just the roll down, just kind of having a roadmap, what you need to work on and what you focused on.
Yeah.
What I did was the squad.
The squad. Squad it is. Melee.
My biggest takeaway was to focus on the things that are important, like the numbers. And what I appreciate is all the
Outstanding. Thank you. Like Kirsten, there you go.
My biggest takeaway is definitely analyzing best practices from the summer, so you're able to perfect them during fall and spring to be perfect at them during next summer. And then what I appreciate is good for the
Yes, I appreciate that too. So, Mr. Andrew, take us home and tally.
Yeah, biggest takeaway is that I quote you should at the beginning, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And well, what I appreciate is you giving us pizza.
Or you can go to what's the chicken tender place in Tally? Guthrie's. Yeah, you guys will be sick the rest of the. That was tasty. Though. That was tasty. That was tasty.
No, I did not go.
We'll go Indiana, San Juan. We'll wrap up here.
Okay, so biggest takeaway was it's not just good enough to work hard. You got to be working hard towards the right things. And what I appreciate is getting food.
Yeah. And then Grant, after this, our agreement, just to be clear, is that you'll watch opening comments live and the rest on you for the week. Cool?
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Welcome. Pace. Keep pacing. We'll go to that's in good old. We'll go to San Juan. Oscar.
Yeah, so my biggest takeaway was focusing on the 5.
Nice.
Like the PR program trainings and the focus on the PR program training. And what I appreciate is my circle of influence right now. I got the laminated sheet. So.
Nice. It's a good one. Does anyone not have the laminated circle of influence sheet? I'll get one for you. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Let's wrap up here. Speaking of which, Brandon, we'll go around and wrap up with David and Luke.
I would just say just setting the right habits. So you know, in the fall right now, so when it comes down to like spring and summer,
it's training. This is it.
For sure.
Good. And what do you appreciate?
I just appreciate being able to have these meetings and really just dissect the things that work and things that don't.
Yeah, it'll be cool at some point also for those of you that haven't been, the two of you haven't been to a United meeting. So it'll be cool afterwards to get your few. I would imagine there are probably some differences already too that'll help you out. Cool. Jackson.
My biggest takeaway is you can control 2 things: your attitude and your effort.
Yep.
And then something I appreciate is just like the structure of all these meetings, you know, the plans that we have, how you already have everything planned out. So.
Yeah, and really, I didn't always have it all planned out. It's just that I've done this 16 times. I mean, that kind of helps, right? Bree.
Capitalize on your strengths and follow my time to focus on my habits in business.
Good.
And then I appreciate the atmosphere where we can identify our weaknesses and our strengths and grow together.
Well, they say the first step in solving your problem is admitting you have a problem. But sorry, but it's true. You have to kind of put it out there and go, okay, here's how I am with money. Here's how I am with my training. Here's how I am with my just hot mess life sometimes. That's how it is. Thanks for being. It takes a lot of courage to do that. So thanks for David, and then wrap up with Luke.
Certainly, biggest takeaways is knowing what is focusing on the right actions that move the business, not just work to work. And what I appreciate is this team and the collective thoughts and efforts of everyone here as well.
Not just work to work. No one wants to work to work. And if you're working because you want to do Cutco so you can work, that's a sad life. And that's not someone I want to work with. So I want you to have an awesome life. Cutco gets it for you. So Luke, wrap us up. Take us home.
My biggest takeaway is I just took all of these and I kind of organized into what do I know well enough to just have on autopilot? What do I know but I need to be very intentional about implementing still? And what do I need to work on? So
spoken like a already first year PSM.
And I appreciate winning trivia. Let's go.
Winning trivia. You did finish strong. You did finish strong. All right. Here's the plan of action, everyone. So I really need your help to engage a really hot start. There are a couple of things I still need to prep on. So I'm going to disappear into my Jeff cave for just a bit. It is now 10 after. When the pizza comes, you can feel free to eat. I ask that you try and eat as quickly as possible so that we're not eating when people arrive. And it's going to be cutting it close. Or maybe there's rounds of people eating, regardless. We need fix up here. I think in Tallahassee, you guys are pretty much good to go. I'm not sure if all the first years will start to come in. I want us to be able to greet by 11:30. I want to be able to start greeting people outside. And then by 11:40, 11:45, they can come in. Okay. David and Luke, let's set up a check-in table in the front. And I will give you my spreadsheet so you can check people in who are here. Tallahassee, if you could just send over. I'll send you the spreadsheet, Andrew, and you can check people in also who are participating. They're from Tally, Clearwater, same thing. And let's have a strong start. By 11:45, I'm going to do a quick icebreaker. I might have Luke kick off an icebreaker. So we're mixing and mingling, getting tempo up, and we'll start at about between 12 and 12:10. We'll start with opening comments, and just make sure you're spread out. Let's be buttoned up. Gentlemen, ties up to the top. Let's make sure we're looking really good for our people and delivering a great meeting. Any questions? Awesome. Thanks for a great start to the session today. Okay, so be engaged by 11:30. Okay, thanks guys. Nice work. I'm gonna keep the Zoom up. I'm gonna stop the broadcast, and we are